stop right now, my child. Before you take another step, before you make another decision, before you let another anxious thought fill your mind, I need you to hear my voice. This changes everything. I did not interrupt your day without purpose, and I did not allow your eyes to rest on this message by accident. There are moments in life when a single word from me can redirect an entire journey, and this is one of those moments. Do not rush past it. Do not convince yourself you will return later. Right here, right now, I am calling your attention because what I am about to reveal has the power to change how you see your past, your present, and the future I have been preparing for you. You have been carrying questions that no one else knows about. You have smiled while hiding exhaustion. You have prayed, waited, hoped, and wondered why the answers seemed delayed. There were times when you questioned whether I was still working behind the scenes. There were moments when your faith felt stretched so thin that you barely recognized your own strength. Yet even then, I was near. Even in the silence, I was moving. Even in the waiting, I was arranging what you could not yet understand. That is why I am asking you to stop. Not because I want to slow your life down, but because I want to keep you from walking past something your heart has been asking me to reveal. The world tells you to hurry, to keep chasing, to keep distracting yourself from the ache inside. But I am inviting you into a different rhythm, a moment where your spirit can finally hear what the noise has been drowning out. Beloved, this is not a random video crossing your path. This moment was woven together long before you arrived here. I know exactly what you have been facing. I know the disappointment that still lingers. I know the private tears that no one witnessed. I know the fear that whispers nothing will ever change. But I also know the plans I have for you, and they are not limited by your circumstances, your mistakes, or the delays you have endured. If you turn away now, you may miss the very clarity you have been praying for. You may continue carrying burdens I never intended for you to bear alone. But if you stay, if you allow my words to settle into your heart, you will begin to see what your natural eyes could not perceive. The confusion that has surrounded you will begin to give way to understanding. The heaviness pressing on your soul will begin to loosen its grip. Hope will no longer feel distant because you will recognize that I have been walking beside you all along. My child, I am not speaking these words to stir your emotions for a moment. I am speaking because there is a truth that must reach your heart before you move forward. Everything that follows from this point is connected to the interruption you almost ignored. So remain with me, listen closely, and open your spirit, because what I am about to say is the very reason I told you to stop right now. This changes everything. Stop right now, my child. I do not say that to frighten you. I say it because you have been moving so quickly through your days that you have barely had space to hear your own heart. You have been thinking, planning, worrying, pushing forward, trying to manage what feels uncertain. And in the middle of all that motion, I am asking you to pause with me. Not later. Not when everything feels calmer. Right now. Because this moment between you and me is not accidental. You may think you found these words, but the truth is I guided you here. I saw the quiet tension building inside you. I saw the questions you did not even fully form into prayers. You might not have spoken them out loud, but I heard them. You have been wondering whether anything is shifting, whether your life is just repeating the same patterns, whether the weight you carry will ever lift. I have been watching you carry that weight with more endurance than you give yourself credit for. And I chose this exact moment to interrupt your routine because something is beginning to change inside you. You tend to think change only counts when circumstances rearrange themselves in obvious ways. You look for dramatic signs, for external confirmation, for something visible that tells you everything is different now. But I work deeper than that. What is happening is quieter, more personal, more significant than a surface shift. I am speaking into your awareness. I am drawing your attention to the fact that you are not drifting through life unnoticed. You are not lost in randomness. You are not forgotten in the middle of your responsibilities and disappointments. You are seen. You are known. And the reason this changes everything is not because your environment suddenly transformed, but because you are beginning to realize that I have been involved the entire time. Even in the seasons where you thought you were alone in your decisions, even when you believed you were figuring it out by yourself, I was guiding you in ways you did not recognize. When certain paths closed, when specific plans unraveled, when timing did not line up the way you expected, I was not absent. I was protecting you from outcomes that would have drained you more than you understood at the time. I want you to feel the weight of that in a steady, grounding way. Your life is not a string of coincidences. The connections you made, the lessons you learned through discomfort, the moments that slowed you down when you wanted to rush ahead, none of it was random. You have been shaped intentionally. You have been redirected carefully. And even now, as you read this, you are standing at the edge of a shift that begins with awareness. You are waking up to the fact that you do not have to navigate your future alone. That realization is powerful, even if it feels subtle. Because once you understand that I am actively present in your story, your anxiety does not hold the same authority over you. Your fear does not get to dictate every decision. The uncertainty about what comes next no longer feels like a cliff you might fall off. It becomes a path we will walk together. You have spent a long time trying to hold everything together through your own effort. You have carried responsibilities, expectations, private worries, and silent disappointments. You rarely let others see how much pressure you feel. You have told yourself that being strong means managing it alone. But strength was never meant to isolate you. It was meant to anchor you while you lean into me. I am not stepping into your life for the first time. I have been here. What is new is your awareness of my presence. And that awareness is what changes everything. Because once you begin to see that I am not distant, your posture shifts. You breathe differently. You evaluate your choices differently. You stop assuming that every outcome depends entirely on your control. That release of pressure may feel unfamiliar at first. You are used to carrying tension. Letting it soften might even feel strange. But I am inviting you into that softness. You might be asking quietly what this means for your future. You want to know what will actually change. I am not going to rush you ahead. I am not going to overwhelm you with details you are not ready to hold. What I am doing is grounding you in this truth. You are not standing in a random chapter of your life. You are standing in a guided one. There are adjustments happening in your thinking. There is clarity forming where confusion used to dominate. There is courage rising where hesitation used to live. And it is happening because you are beginning to trust that I am involved. Stay here with me in this awareness. Let it settle. Let it interrupt the old narrative that you are alone in this. Because you are not. And once you truly understand that, you will start to notice that even small decisions carry a different kind of peace. That is where this begins. You have been carrying something heavy, and even if you have not named it clearly, you know it is there. It sits in your chest when the room is quiet. It shows up in your thoughts when you try to rest. It follows you into conversations, into decisions, into the small ordinary moments that should feel light, but instead feel layered with pressure. I see that way. I see how you adjust your tone so others do not notice. I see how you hold steady when you feel unsteady inside. You have become skilled at appearing composed while your heart feels crowded. Let me speak plainly to you. That pressure is real, but it is not permanent. It has felt like a mountain on your back, a silent strain that stretches your strength thin. You have told yourself that you can manage it, that you just need to push a little harder, endure a little longer, stay sharp and strong and self-contained. But you were not designed to live in constant strain. I did not create you to survive in survival mode. Come closer in your thoughts and let me talk to you about this honestly. You have been observing more than you release. You have been processing fears without voicing them. You have been replaying conversations, worrying about outcomes, anticipating what might go wrong. That cycle has been circling in your mind like a wheel that will not slow down. You call it responsibility. Sometimes you call it caution. But underneath it is tension that has been building quietly. You wake up already braced. You plan ahead as if everything depends entirely on your performance. I understand why you do this. You have learned that being prepared feels safer than being surprised. Yet this constant vigilance has been wearing you down. It has shaped your posture, your sleep, your breathing. I want you to notice something right now. Notice how your body feels when you consider letting that weight down, even for a moment. There may be resistance. There may be fear. You might think that if you stop carrying it, everything will fall apart. That belief has been driving you more than you realize. Listen carefully to me. You are not the sole guardian of your future. You are not the only one responsible for holding every thread together. You have been living as if the entire structure rests on your shoulders. That is too much for one heart. You are strong, yes, but strength does not mean endless strain. Strength with strain becomes brittle. Strength with support becomes resilient. I am inviting you into that second kind. Lay the mental load down with me for a few minutes. Do not argue with this invitation. Do not analyze it to exhaustion. Simply try it. Picture the concerns you are holding. The financial worries, the relational tensions, the unspoken disappointments, the quiet fear that you might fail at something important. Bring those to me in your mind. Hand them over intentionally. This is not denial. This is delegation. I am capable of carrying what exhausts you. You do not have to prove your maturity by suffering in silence. There is something else beneath that weight. It is not only responsibility. It is expectation. You have set standards for yourself that are sharp and strict. You rarely allow yourself grace. When you make a mistake, you replay it in detail. When something goes wrong, you assume it reflects on your worth. You have been measuring yourself against an invisible scale, constantly adjusting, constantly trying to reach a level that feels acceptable. I need you to hear this clearly. Your value is not determined by flawless performance. It never has been. You are not loved because you execute perfectly. You are loved because you are mine. That truth may sound simple, but you have not fully absorbed it. You continue to operate as if love must be earned through consistency and control. That belief has added unnecessary pressure to your life. Let me correct that gently but firmly. You do not have to secure my approval through endless effort. You already have my attention. You already have my care. The weight you feel is partly the result of trying to manage your life as if you are alone in it. You are not alone. You never have been. When you felt overwhelmed last month and said nothing, I was aware. When you stared at the ceiling late at night wondering how things would resolve, I was present. When you swallowed your frustration because you did not want to burden anyone, I was listening. You do not need to impress me with your endurance. I would rather you be honest with me about your exhaustion. Take a slow breath now. I am not rushing you. I am guiding you. The heaviness you feel is not proof that you are failing. is a signal that you have been carrying too much without sharing it. Let this be the moment where that pattern shifts. Speak openly to me. Admit what scares you. Admit what frustrates you. Admit where you feel inadequate. There is freedom in that honesty. And as you begin to release that pressure, even slightly, you will notice something subtle but significant. Your mind will feel clearer. Your body will feel less guarded. Your heart will feel steadier. This is not dramatic. It is gradual. But it is real. Do not return immediately to your old habit of clenching everything tightly. Resist that impulse. Stay here with me in this safe space. You do not have to solve everything today. You do not have to anticipate every possible problem. You can walk one step at a time with me. That is enough. Let me carry what you were never meant to manage alone. Let this be the beginning of a lighter way of living. You have felt it, even if you tried to ignore it. There has been a quiet tension inside you, like standing at a crossroads where the path ahead splits, but no signpost tells you which way to turn. You have sensed that you cannot keep living exactly as you have been living. Something in you has outgrown the patterns that once felt normal. Conversations that used to satisfy you now feel shallow. Environments that once felt familiar now feel constricting. Decisions that once felt easy now carry weight. That discomfort is not confusion. It is movement. It is growth. Press you against what can no longer contain it. I want you to acknowledge that honestly. Do not dismiss it. Do not shrink it down. Sit with it. Let yourself admit that you are changing. You have been trying to keep everyone comfortable while you quietly evolve. You adjust your tone, your preferences, your pace so that no one feels unsettled. You do that because you care. You do that because you do not want conflict. But listen to me closely. Your growth will unsettle some people, and that is not a sign that you are wrong. When you begin to see more clearly, you cannot pretend to be blind again. When you begin to value peace more than approval, you cannot keep chasing validation in the same way. This crossroad you feel is not dramatic on the outside. You are still waking up, working, speaking, showing up. But internally you are choosing between old instincts and new alignment. You are deciding whether to continue reacting out of habit or to respond out of awareness. The decision point changes everything. I want you to pause and reflect on what you have been tolerating. Think about the patterns you have excused. Think about the dynamics you have accepted as normal even though they drain you. Think about the self-talk you have allowed to run unchecked. These are not small matters. They shape your daily experience. I am not asking you to judge yourself harshly. I am asking you to look honestly. Be brave in your self-examination. When you notice where you have been compromising your peace just to maintain familiarity, admit it. When you realize you have been shrinking your voice to avoid tension, acknowledge it. This is not about blame. This is about clarity. And clarity is powerful. At this crossroad, you may feel fear. Let me address that directly. Change often feels like stepping into fog. You cannot see far ahead. You cannot guarantee outcomes. Your mind starts creating worst-case scenarios. That is natural. But do not let fear make the decision for you. Fear will always advocate for what feels safe and known. Growth requires courage that is quieter and steadier. You do not need loud confidence. You need grounded trust. Trust that I am guiding you even when the next step is not fully illuminated. Trust that I am not leading you into chaos, but into alignment. Take a small step forward where you sense peace. Do not wait for perfect certainty. Move with thoughtful faith. You may be wondering what exactly needs to change. I am not handing you a dramatic list. I am drawing your attention inward. Where do you feel tension every time you compromise your values? Where do you feel relief when you imagine choosing differently? Pay attention to those signals. They are indicators. You do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Begin with one area. Make one aligned decision. Speak one honest sentence you would have previously avoided. Set one boundary where you used to stay silent. These actions may appear small from the outside, but internally they mark a turning point. They signal that you are choosing growth over comfort. I want you to understand something important. You are not abandoning who you were. You are maturing beyond what limited you. There is a difference. You are not betraying your past self. You are honoring your present awareness. Do not let guilt creep in and accuse you of changing too much. Growth is not betrayal. It is development. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to refine your standards. You are allowed to protect your peace. I give you that permission. More than that, I encourage it. Stand still for a moment in your thoughts. Picture yourself at that crossroad. One path represents old habits, predictable responses, familiar discomfort. The other path represents new alignment, quiet courage, intentional choice. Feel the difference between them. You do not have to sprint. You only need to take one step. Step toward alignment. Step toward integrity. Step toward peace. I am walking with you. You are not navigating this intersection alone. And when you look back months from now, you will recognize this season as the moment when you stopped drifting and started choosing deliberately. That is why this matters. That is why I am drawing your attention to it. You are not stuck. You are standing at a decision point. Choose wisely. Choose with me. Now let us talk about what is holding you back from stepping fully into that new direction. It is not lack of intelligence. It is not lack of opportunity. It is fear of letting go. You have grown accustomed to certain structures in your life, even when they frustrate you. You know how they operate. You know what to expect. There is comfort in predictability, even when that predictability includes disappointment. Letting go feels like surrendering control. It feels like stepping away from something you understand into something you cannot fully anticipate. I see that hesitation in you. I do not criticize it. I understand it. But I need you to examine it honestly. You have been holding on to relationships, roles, habits, and even mindsets that no longer fit who you are becoming. You tell yourself you will adjust them later. You tell yourself it is easier to keep things as they are for now. But underneath that reasoning is fear. Fear that if you release what is familiar, you will lose stability. Fear that if you change the dynamic, you will create conflict. Fear that if you choose differently, you will regret it. I want you to look at that fear without exaggerating it. Sometimes your mind turns it into a mountain when in reality it is a manageable hill. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You picture loss on a massive scale. You tell yourself that letting go will shatter everything. That is exaggeration fueled by anxiety. It is not truth. Let me gently challenge that narrative. What if letting go is not loss but liberation? What if what you are clinging to is actually constricting you? You have outgrown certain versions of yourself. Yet you keep trying to squeeze back into them because they feel known. The tension you feel when you compromise your growth is the cost of holding on too tightly. I am not asking you to abandon responsibilities. I am not asking you to discard wisdom. I am asking you to release what no longer serves your well-being or aligns with your values. It may mean redefining a boundary. It may mean adjusting your availability. It may mean changing how you respond to certain behaviors. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Let go of the belief that you must keep everyone pleased at your own expense. There is freedom on the other side of release. It may not look flashy. It may not come with applause. But it feels like breathing more deeply. It feels like standing upright instead of bracing. You will notice it in your body. The constant tension in your shoulders will ease. The tightness in your chest will soften. That is not imaginary. Your physical state reflects your internal posture. When you let go of what you were never meant to carry indefinitely, your whole being responds. I want you to take action in this area. Identify one thing you know you need to release. It might be resentment you have been nursing quietly. It might be an unrealistic expectation you placed on yourself. It might be a dynamic that consistently drains you. Name it clearly. Do not soften it with vague language. And bring it to me. See it plainly. Admit that you have been afraid to let it go. I will not shame you for that fear. I will steady you through it. You are not required to hold on to what is harming you just because it has been part of your life for a long time. Duration does not equal destiny. Familiarity does not equal alignment. Let that sink in. You can honor what was without being bound to it forever. You can appreciate lessons learned without clinging to environments that no longer fit your growth. Release does not erase your past. It simply frees your future. Take a breath again. Feel the space that opens when you consider loosening your grip. That space is not emptiness. It is potential. It is room for healthier connections, clearer thinking, deeper peace. Trust that I am not asking you to step into a void. I am leading you into something better suited for who you are becoming. You do not have to release everything at once. Start with one intentional act of letting go. One boundary spoken. One habit adjusted. One resentment surrendered. That single step will strengthen your confidence. It will show you that you are capable of choosing growth over fear. And as you practice that release, you will realize that what once felt terrifying now feels empowering. You are not losing control. You are gaining freedom. And I am right here with you as you loosen your grip and step forward. You have been measuring your life against timelines that were never written for you. You scroll, you observe, you compare, and quietly you conclude that you should be further by now. You see someone else's promotion, someone else's marriage, someone else's milestone, and something inside you tightens. You start calculating. You start questioning. You wonder what you did wrong, where you hesitated, why your progress feels slower. Come closer and listen carefully to me. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified because your story is unfolding at a different pace. Your journey is not a race on a crowded track. It is a path I am walking with you personally. You have been carrying an invisible clock in your mind. It ticks quietly when you look at your age. It ticks when you think about goals not yet reached. It ticks when you hear relatives or friends ask subtle questions about what's next. The ticking has created pressure that I never placed on you. You have internalized expectations that were shaped by culture, comparison, and sometimes pride. I want you to release that clock. Not tomorrow. Release it now. It does not govern your destiny. I do. You have grown in ways that cannot be captured by announcements or applause. You have developed patience in seasons of waiting. You have cultivated discernment through disappointment. You have strengthened your character when no one was watching. Those gains do not show up in social updates, but they are real. They are substantial. They matter. You sometimes look at the visible fruit in other people's lives and assume you are lacking because you cannot yet see the same results in yours. But you are looking at harvest without remembering hidden roots. Roots grow in darkness. Roots deepen in unseen soil. Roots strengthen quietly before anything visible emerges above ground. You have been developing roots. You have been building endurance beneath the surface. That does not make you behind. It makes you prepared. I want you to shift your perspective. Stop evaluating your life through comparison. Instead, evaluate it through alignment. Ask yourself whether you are becoming more grounded, more wise, more steady. That is real progress. Now I am going to speak firmly, because you need to hear this clearly. Stop calling yourself late. Stop labeling your season as failure. Stop narrating your story as if it has fallen short. Those words shape your belief. Those beliefs shape your behavior. And your behavior shapes your future. When you say you are behind, you subtly withdraw your confidence. You hesitate in opportunities because you feel inadequate. You approach decisions with insecurity rather than courage. I do not want you moving through your life with that posture. Stand upright in your season. Noted. This is your preparation phase, not your punishment phase. Let me ask you something personal. If I rushed you into certain opportunities earlier, would you have handled them with the wisdom you have now? If I had granted certain desires when you first asked, would you have been emotionally steady enough to steward them? You may want to answer quickly, but consider it honestly. Some delays have been protection. Some pauses have been refinement. Some detours have been redirection. What you perceived as stagnation was often strategic shaping. I was strengthening your foundation so that when growth comes, it will not collapse under its own weight. You need to cooperate with this truth. When comparison creeps in, interrupt it. When you feel that internal ticking clock, challenge it. Replace that narrative with trust. Tell yourself that your pace is purposeful. Tell yourself that your path is personal. Tell yourself that you are not racing against anyone. Do not wait for external validation to confirm your worth. You are not defined by how quickly you accumulate milestones. You are defined by who you are becoming along the way. Lean into this season instead of resisting it. Invest in your growth. Develop skills. Strengthen relationships that align with your values. Cultivate discipline quietly. Let your preparation be deep rather than flashy. When the time comes for visible expansion, you will not scramble to sustain it. You will stand firm because you were shaped in hidden seasons. Look at your life again without the distortion of comparison. See your resilience. See your progress. See the subtle changes that have already occurred. You are not behind. You are becoming ready. And when your next chapter unfolds, it will not be fragile. It will be rooted. Stay steady. Stay patient. Trust my timing with you. You have interpreted the pressure in your life as proof that something is wrong. You have felt squeezed by circumstances, stretched by responsibilities, and tested by disappointments. At times it felt relentless. You wondered whether you were being punished or overlooked. You questioned why things seemed harder for you than for others. I want to speak directly into that interpretation. The pressure was not designed to break you. It was refining you. There is a difference between destruction and development. You were never abandoned in your struggle. You were being shaped. Think about how pressure works in other areas of life. Heat refines metal. Weight strengthens muscle. Resistance builds endurance. None of those processes feel comfortable in the moment. They feel demanding. They require persistence. They expose weakness before they produce strength. That is similar to what has been happening in you. Situations that forced you to confront your impatience were strengthening your restraint. Circumstances that tested your faith were deepening your trust. Interactions that challenged your pride were softening your humility. You did not enjoy those moments. I did not expect you to. But they were not random hardships. They were purposeful refinements. You need to look back at certain seasons with a different lens. Instead of asking why it was so hard, ask what it formed in you. Did it make you more discerning about who you trust? Did it teach you to manage your emotions more wisely? Did it push you to develop skills you might have ignored in comfort? There is growth embedded in those answers. That growth would not have emerged without pressure. I did not send difficulty to harm you. I allowed certain challenges because I saw the potential within you that comfort would never awaken. You sometimes underestimate your own transformation. You still see yourself through the memory of who you were before the pressure intensified. But you are not the same person. You handle conflict differently now. You recover from disappointment faster. You recognize unhealthy patterns more quickly. That is maturity. It came through tension, not ease. You did not collapse under the weight. You adapted. You learned. You adjusted. That resilience is evidence of refinement. Now I want you to shift how you respond to ongoing pressure. Instead of assuming it is a threat, ask what it is teaching you. Instead of reacting defensively, respond reflectively. You are stronger than you realize. Pressure revealed that strength. It also exposed areas that needed adjustment. That exposure was not humiliation. It was opportunity. When you noticed impatience rising, you had the chance to cultivate patience. When insecurity surfaced, you had the chance to anchor your identity more deeply in me. Those internal battles were not wasted. Do not romanticize the hardship, but do not resent it either. See it clearly. Acknowledge that it hurt. Acknowledge that it stretched you. Then acknowledge that it shaped you. You have been refined, not ruined. That distinction matters. It changes how you interpret your story. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who survived damage, begin to see yourself as someone who emerged stronger. There is still growth ahead. Refinement is ongoing. But you are no longer fragile in the same way. You have been tested and found capable. That knowledge should steady you. When new challenges arise, you will not collapse into panic as quickly. You will remember that you have endured before. You will recall that pressure did not destroy you. It developed you. Stand firm in that awareness. You not shrink from future growth because past growth was uncomfortable. Embrace the process with courage. I am not refining you to exhaust you. I am refining you to prepare you. And as you step into what comes next, you will carry a depth that comfort alone could never have produced. You now understand that the pressure was refinement, not destruction, so do not let this fire stop with you. What I have forged in you through heat and weight, I intend to use as light for many. When you give through super thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description. You are not funding content. You are sowing seed into souls who are still standing in the fire. As I have spoken, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I am speaking that over you now. Your generosity becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning in dark places. This is your moment to turn refinement into revival. I see the ones scrolling at midnight, desperate for hope. Your seed becomes manna for them. You not call this small. Call it obedience. I will multiply what you release, guard what concerns you, and cause favor to rise around you like a shield. Step into this divine appointment. Give now, and let the fire I placed in you ignite faith in others. You have been wrestling with something deeper than circumstances, deeper than timing, deeper than pressure. At the center of all this movement is your identity. You have been quietly asking yourself who you really are beneath roles, beneath responsibilities, beneath expectations. And the answer to that question changes everything. I need you to hear me clearly right now. You are not the sum of your successes. You are not the shadow of your failures. You are not defined by what others say about you when you are present or when you are absent. You are mine. That truth is not sentimental language. It is foundational reality. If you misunderstand who you are, everything else becomes unstable. If you anchor your identity in performance, then your worth rises and falls with outcomes. If you anchor it in approval, then your confidence shifts with opinions. That is exhaustive. I never intended for you to live that way. You have absorbed labels over the years. Some were spoken directly. Some were implied through tone, through silence, through comparison. You internalized phrases like not enough, too much, late, difficult, inconsistent, invisible. Those labels settled quietly into your thinking. You may not repeat them out loud anymore, but they still influence your decisions. When you hesitate before stepping into opportunity, it is often because an old label whispers that you are unqualified. When you overextend yourself to please others, it is often because an old label whispers that you must earn your place. I want you to pause and confront those whispers. Do not ignore them. Expose them. Bring them into the light. Ask yourself whether they align with what I say about you. They do not. You are chosen, even when you feel overlooked. You are capable, even when you feel uncertain. You are worthy, even when you make mistakes. These are not exaggerated affirmations meant to make you temporarily feel better. They are truths grounded in who I created you to be. I shaped your temperament. I formed your mind. I place strengths within you that you have not fully explored. You have been underestimating yourself because you have been viewing yourself through a distorted lens. Let me adjust that lens. Step closer to my perspective. See yourself as someone being developed, not someone permanently flawed. See yourself as someone entrusted with growth, not someone sentenced to limitation. Now I am going to invite you to do something intentional. Speak about yourself differently. Not in arrogance, not in denial, but in alignment. When you catch yourself saying, "I always mess this up," interrupt that thought. Replace it with, "I am learning." When you feel the urge to withdraw because you assume you will fail, challenge that assumption. Ask yourself whether it is rooted in evidence or insecurity. Your internal dialogue shapes your external courage. If you continue to narrate your identity through past disappointments, you will keep shrinking from new opportunities. Shift the narrative. Let it reflect growth, resilience, potential. This is not about pretending weakness does not exist. You have areas that need strengthening. You have habits that need refinement. That is part of being human. But weakness does not erase worth. Growth does not require self-rejection. You can acknowledge flaws without condemning yourself. You can pursue development without despising who you currently are. That balance is maturity. I want you to hold it. Lean into this identity shift. When you make decisions, let them flow from who you are becoming, not from who you fear you still are. Stand in conversations with steady confidence, not because you are flawless, but because you are grounded. When you face challenges, remind yourself that you are not fragile. You had endured before. You have adapted before. You have grown before. Those patterns prove that you are capable of further growth. Your identity is the root. Everything else branches out from it. If the root is insecurity, the branches will be fear-driven. If the root is clarity about who you are in me, the branches will carry steadiness and strength. I'm asking you to anchor yourself in that clarity. Do not let old labels dictate your next chapter. Do not let outdated narratives control your posture. Step into the truth of who you are. Own it. Life from it. That internal alignment will ripple into every area of your life. There are stories you tell yourself that feel factual, but they are interpretations shaped by pain. You replay certain memories and conclude that the outcome defines your future. You remember the relationship that failed and quietly assume future relationships will follow the same pattern. You recall the opportunity you missed and assume you will miss the next one too. You think about the time you were criticized and assume your voice is not valuable. These narratives are persuasive because they are familiar. They feel safe in a strange way because you have rehearsed them so often. But familiarity does not equal truth. I want you to examine those internal stories with honesty. When you think, "I always fall short," ask yourself if that is objectively accurate. When you say, "Things never work out for me," challenge that exaggeration. That kind of thinking magnifies disappointment and minimizes progress. It turns isolated events into permanent conclusions. I need you to stop granting those narratives authority. They have been shaping your expectations, and your expectations influence your behavior. If you expect failure, you approach opportunities cautiously, half-committed. If you expect rejection, you guard yourself prematurely. Those guarded decisions can create the very outcomes you fear. Let me offer you a different perspective. Your past contains lessons, not life sentences. Mistakes are markers of learning, not definitions of identity. Disappointments are experiences, not destiny. You have grown since those earlier chapters. You have gained insight. You have developed emotional awareness. Yet you sometimes still react as if you are the same person you were years ago. You are not. You have matured. You have refined your judgment. You have strengthened your boundaries. Let your present self evaluate new situations instead of allowing your past self to dominate the conversation. Here is something practical I want you to do. The next time an old narrative surfaces, slow down. Do not immediately agree with it. Ask yourself where it originated. Was it born from a single painful event? Was it reinforced by someone else's opinion? Was it shaped by comparison? Trace it back. When you identify its origin, you weaken its control. Then intentionally replace it with a balanced statement grounded in truth. Not unrealistic positivity, but grounded clarity. For example, instead of "I always fail," say, "I have succeeded in some areas and struggled in others, and I am capable of improvement." That shift may seem small, but it changes your internal tone. I also want you to stop romanticizing the past in ways that limit your growth. You sometimes idealize earlier seasons because they feel simpler. But those seasons also contain limitations you have since outgrown. Moving forward requires releasing outdated versions of your story. You are not meant to relive old chapters repeatedly. You are meant to build new ones with the wisdom you have gained. Be intentional about the words you allow to circulate in your mind. Language matters. The phrases you repeat internally become beliefs. Beliefs shape posture. Posture influences action. Do not underestimate the power of your internal script. Write it thoughtfully. Align it with who you are becoming. Refuse to let pain dictate your expectations. You are not trapped by your history. You are informed by it. There is a difference. Let your history serve you as insight, not as limitation. You have more authority over your inner narrative than you think. Use it wisely. Speak to yourself with clarity instead of condemnation. Expect growth instead of failure. Approach new opportunities with cautious confidence instead of defensive retreat. This is how you step into a different future. Not by denying your past, but by refusing to let it control you. I am walking with you as you rewrite those internal stories. Stay aware. Stay intentional. Let your narrative evolve with your growth. You have been underestimating yourself for longer than you realize. You look at what still needs improvement, what still feels uncertain, what still feels fragile, and you quietly conclude that you are not as strong as you should be. You measure yourself against an imagined version of confidence and think you fall short. But I see you differently. I see the resilience that formed in you when you did not collapse under pressure. I see the quiet endurance that kept you moving when your emotions felt unstable. I see the choices you made in private that required more courage than anyone around you will ever understand. You think strength looks loud and visible. Often it looks like you getting up again without announcing how hard it was to stand. Consider what you have survived emotionally, mentally, spiritually. There were moments when you thought you were at your limit. You felt stretched thin. You felt worn out. You questioned whether you could handle one more disappointment, one more responsibility, one more unexpected shift. And yet you are still here. That is not small. That is not ordinary. That is strength under strain, steady strength shaped by seasons that did not break you. You may call it coping. I call it courage. You may call it survival. I call it growth. You may dismiss it because it did not look dramatic. But endurance rarely looks dramatic in the moment. It looks like quiet persistence. Now I want you to shift your attention from what you lack to what you have developed. Look at how you handle conflict now compared to years ago. Notice how you pause before reacting. Notice how you consider long-term consequences instead of immediate emotion. Notice how you are more aware of your triggers. These are not random improvements. They are evidence of internal fortitude. You have been building muscle beneath the surface. Just as physical strength grows through resistance, emotional strength grows through challenge. That resistance did not crush you. It refined you. Let me speak directly into the doubt that lingers. You sometimes fear that if something truly difficult happens, you will fall apart. You imagine worst-case scenarios and assume you will not be able to handle them. That is anxiety exaggerating your weakness. It is not an accurate forecast of your capability. When previous storms hit, you adapted. You adjusted. You leaned into me even if imperfectly. You found solutions you did not know you could find. That pattern matters. It proves something about you. It proves that when pressure comes, you do not simply collapse. You recalibrate. I want you to cooperate with this recognition of strength. Stop speaking about yourself as if you are fragile glass. You are not unbreakable, but you are not brittle. There is elasticity in you. There is capacity in you. Begin to act from that awareness. When you face a challenge this week, do not approach it assuming defeat. Approach it assuming growth. Tell yourself that you have navigated difficulty before and you can navigate it again. That internal stance will change how you engage with obstacles. Strength is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. You have moved despite fear more times than you can count. That is why you are further along than you think. I am not asking you to pretend to be fearless. I am asking you to recognize that fear has not ruled you entirely. You have made brave decisions while still uncertain. That is maturity. Let this realization settle deeply. You are not waiting to become strong someday. You already are developing strength. Honor that. Build on it. Stretch it responsibly. Do not hide from opportunities that require courage. Step into them thoughtfully. When you feel hesitation, pause and pray instead of retreating immediately. Use the strength you have cultivated. Trust that I will continue to reinforce it. You are capable of more than you assume. You are steadier than you feel. You are stronger than your self-criticism suggests. carry yourself with that awareness. It will shape your posture, your tone, your decisions. And as you move forward, you will begin to see that the strength you doubted has been present all along. You have been expecting change to arrive with visible signs, clear announcements, dramatic moments that make it obvious something new has begun. You imagine breakthrough as fireworks, as a sudden surge, as a sharp contrast between before and after. But the shift I am guiding you into is quieter than that. It will not necessarily announce itself with spectacle. It will reveal itself in subtle adjustments, in calm responses where there used to be tension, in clarity where there used to be confusion. If you wait for noise, you might miss it. Pay attention to quiet progress. You are already experiencing glimpses of this shift. Think about a recent situation that would have unsettled you months ago. Notice how you handled it this time. Perhaps you did not spiral as deeply. Perhaps you recovered more quickly. Perhaps you spoke with steadier confidence. Those are signals. They are not dramatic, but they are meaningful. Transformation often unfolds gradually, like light increasing at dawn rather than a switch flipping instantly. You do not always notice it while it is happening, but over time you realize the landscape looks different. I want you to adjust your expectations. Stop demanding spectacle as proof of growth. Growth that is sustainable is often subtle. It reshapes your thinking quietly. It adjusts your reactions incrementally. It builds new habits one decision at a time. You may not feel drastically different from one day to the next, but patterns are shifting. Your internal dialogue is becoming less harsh. Your boundaries are becoming clearer. Your choices are becoming more intentional. That is real change. Let me give you a practical instruction. At the end of each week, reflect briefly on where you responded differently than you would have before. Write it down if that helps. Do not exaggerate it. Do not minimize it. Simply observe it. This practice will train your mind to recognize progress instead of constantly scanning for lack. You have been conditioned to notice what is missing. I want you to notice what is forming. This quieter shift also protects you from pride. When change is gradual, you stay humble. You remain aware that growth is ongoing. You do not become complacent because there was no single moment that felt like arrival. Instead, you continue refining, adjusting, improving. That steady approach creates depth rather than flash. Do not rush this process. Do not compare your growth speed to someone else's visible transformation. Your work is internal and foundational. Foundations are not flashy. They are solid. They hold weight. They sustain structures. What I am building in you is meant to last. It is meant to support future responsibilities, future opportunities, future influence. Loud change can collapse if it is not supported by depth. Quiet change tends to endure. When you feel tempted to doubt whether anything is happening, return to small evidence. Notice your breathing when you face stress. Notice your tone when you disagree with someone. And notice your willingness to apologize when you recognize a mistake. These are markers of maturity. They may not attract attention, but they are significant. Stay attentive. Stay patient. Resist the urge to manufacture drama just to feel movement. You do not need spectacle to validate growth. Trust the steady work unfolding inside you. The shift is real, even if it whispers rather than shouts. And over time, the cumulative effect of these quiet adjustments will transform your life in ways that loud moments never could. You have spent years reacting to pressure, reacting to people, reacting to expectations, reacting to fear. Your life has not been reckless, but it has often been reactive. You made decisions based on urgency instead of clarity. You answered demands before you asked whether they aligned with your values. You said yes when your spirit was whispering no. You tolerated situations that chipped away at your peace because you thought endurance alone would solve everything. I am not condemning you for that. You did the best you knew at the time. But now I am inviting you into alignment. Not performance. Not perfection. Alignment. And that invitation changes everything. Alignment means your inner convictions and your outer choices begin to agree. It means what you believe about yourself, about me, about your purpose starts shaping your behavior instead of your fears shaping it. Right now, you are standing at a subtle but significant shift. You can continue living in reaction mode or you can move into intentional living. I am not forcing you. I am inviting you. Pause and consider that difference. Force creates resistance. Invitation creates willingness. I want your willingness. I want your cooperation. I want you to lean in. Take a moment and examine where you feel misaligned. Where are you saying one thing publicly but believing something else privately? Where are you committing to responsibilities that drain you because you are afraid to disappoint? Where are you neglecting your own growth because you are consumed with maintaining appearances? Do not rush past these questions. Sit with them. Write them down if you need to. Clarity begins with honesty. You can't align what you refuse to acknowledge. Bring the inconsistencies into the light. I already see them, but you need to see them too. Alignment will require courage. It will ask you to slow down before answering. It will ask you to evaluate invitations instead of accepting them automatically. It will ask you to protect your peace without feeling guilty. You may worry that choosing alignment will create tension. It might. Growth often disrupts comfort. But misalignment creates internal friction that is far more exhausting. You have felt that friction, that restless agitation when you know you compromise your values, that lingering discomfort after you agreed to something you should have declined, that quiet frustration when you realized you acted from fear instead of faith. Alignment removes that friction. It replaces it with steadiness. I want you to practice a simple but powerful habit. Before making decisions, pause and ask yourself whether the choice aligns with who you are becoming. Not who you were. Not who others expect you to be. Who you are becoming. That question will slow you down in healthy ways. That will expose motivations. That will reveal whether you are acting from insecurity or integrity. Do not ignore the answers. If something feels misaligned, do not force yourself into it out of obligation. Step back. Reevaluate. Seek my guidance. I will not leave you uncertain when you sincerely ask. You have been chasing clarity externally when it has been forming internally. Alignment sharpens clarity. When your inner world is stable, external decisions become less chaotic. You stop overthinking every possibility because you are anchored in principle rather than panic. That anchor steadies you. It prevents you from being pulled in every direction by every opinion. Let me speak directly into your hesitation. You fear that if you live more aligned, you might lose approval. You might lose certain connections. You might lose opportunities that once felt necessary. But misaligned success is hollow. Misaligned relationships are draining. Misaligned opportunities eventually collapse under their own weight. I am protecting you by inviting you into alignment now rather than allowing misalignment to expand further. Step into this with intention. Adjust your pace. Reconsider your priorities. Speak honestly when you need to. Set boundaries without apology. Realign your schedule if it reflects busyness instead of purpose. You are not being selfish. You are being responsible for your soul. That responsibility matters. This shift is not loud. It is deliberate. It is personal. It is powerful. And when you begin living aligned with your convictions and my guidance, your life will feel less scattered and more centered. That centeredness will influence every area of your existence. Walk into alignment willingly. I am walking with you. There are elements in your life that feel stable simply because they have been present for a long time. Familiar routines, familiar conversations, familiar dynamics. You have grown accustomed to them. They may not be healthy, but they are known. And what is known often feels safer than what is unknown. Yet I need you to understand something clearly. Duration does not equal destiny. Just because something has been in your life for years does not mean it is meant to remain forever. I am removing certain things not to punish you, but to prepare you. You may have noticed subtle shifts already. Certain relationships feel strained. Certain environments feel uncomfortable. Certain habits no longer bring the same satisfaction. That discomfort is not random irritation. It is awareness increasing. You are outgrowing spaces that once fit. And when growth expands, old containers feel tight. That tightness can create frustration. You might interpret it as conflict. But sometimes it is simply evidence that you are evolving. Let me be direct with you. Not everything you lose is loss. Some removals are rescue. Some endings are protection. Some closed doors are redirection. You have held on to situations because you invested time, emotion, effort. You reasoned that leaving or releasing would mean those investments were wasted. But growth is not wasted simply because it leads you somewhere new. Lessons remain even when locations change. Wisdom stays even when relationships shift. I am asking you to trust my pruning. Think of a gardener trimming branches so that the plant can grow stronger. The cutting feels harsh in the moment. It looks like loss, but it creates space for healthier growth. If every branch remained untouched, the plant would become tangled and weak. Pruning is intentional. It is strategic. It is not careless destruction. I am pruning areas of your life so that what remains can thrive. You might resist this process. You might cling to what I am loosening. You might attempt to repair dynamics that are meant to conclude. Pause before you fight to preserve everything. Ask yourself whether you are holding on out of fear or out of genuine alignment. If fear is the primary motivation, consider whether that fear is exaggerating the consequences. You often imagine catastrophic outcomes when something shifts. In reality, many changes lead to relief rather than ruin. Here is what I want you to do. Identify one area where you sense something is being removed or reshaped. Instead of reacting immediately, bring it to me. Ask for clarity. Ask for courage. Ask for perspective. Do not rush to fix what may not need fixing. Sit with the transition. Observe what surfaces in you. Does the thought of release bring subtle relief alongside anxiety? That combination is often a sign that growth is involved. You are not being stripped of what you need. You are being separated from what hinders you. There is a difference. I will not remove something essential to your calling without replacing it with something healthier. Trust that. Trust that my removals are thoughtful, not random. Trust that what leaves creates room for what aligns. Stay open during this process. Do not close your heart in response to change. Do not become cynical. Remain soft and steady. You are not losing stability. You are gaining refinement. And as certain things fade from your life, you will begin to notice new clarity emerging, new opportunities aligning, new peace settling where tension once lived. Let the pruning happen. Cooperate with it. Release what I am removing instead of gripping it tightly. You are being positioned for growth that requires space. Make that space willingly. I am guiding you through every adjustment. You have been asking me for clarity for longer than you admit out loud. You may not have used that exact word every time, but that is what your heart has been seeking. You have asked for direction when options felt overwhelming. You have asked for confirmation when decisions felt heavy. You have asked for a sign when silence stretched longer than you expected. I heard every one of those prayers, even the ones you whispered with frustration. You wondered whether I was listening. You questioned whether the quiet meant indifference. It did not. The quiet was preparation. The quiet was positioning. The quiet was me shaping your perception so that when clarity came, you would recognize it. You have been looking for clarity like a spotlight, something bright and unmistakable, something that eliminates every shadow. But clarity often comes like a lantern instead of a lightning strike. It illuminates the next few steps, not the entire road. And I know that unsettles you. You prefer guarantees. You want certainty before commitment. You want reassurance before movement. That is understandable, but it is not how growth works. If I revealed every detail of your future at once, you would either rush recklessly or retreat in fear. Gradual clarity trains your trust. It requires you to move thoughtfully, not impulsively. I want you to recognize how clarity has already been forming in you. You have become more aware of what drains you and what energizes you. You have grown more sensitive to what aligns with your values and what conflicts with them. You have begun to notice subtle warnings in your spirit when something is not right. That awareness is clarity. It may not feel dramatic, but it is precise. You have dismissed it at times because it did not come with spectacle. Do not dismiss it anymore. Pay attention to that inner signal. It is not random intuition. It is cultivated discernment. Here is what I want you to do now. Stop waiting for perfect certainty. Start responding to the clarity you already have. If you know a certain habit needs to change, act on that knowledge. If you sense that a conversation needs to happen, prepare for it thoughtfully. If you feel a door quietly closing, do not force it open out of fear. Trust that I am guiding you. You do not need every answer today. You need the next right step. Take that step. You have also been asking for clarity about your purpose. You question whether you are living meaningfully. You wonder whether you are missing something significant. Listen carefully. Purpose is not always a dramatic calling announced publicly. Often it is lived through consistent integrity, steady contribution, and quiet influence. You are fulfilling purpose when you show up with honesty. You are fulfilling purpose when you act with compassion. You are fulfilling purpose when you make choices aligned with your values. Do not underestimate the power of ordinary faithfulness. When confusion returns, as it sometimes will, do not panic. Confusion does not mean you are lost. It means you are still discerning. Bring your uncertainty to me. Speak it clearly. Ask specific questions. Then allow space for reflection. Clarity often grows in silence after honest inquiry. It rarely arrives in frantic overthinking. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being guided incrementally. Each insight you gain builds upon the last. Each aligned decision strengthens your confidence. You do not need a map of the entire journey. You need trust in the one who sees it fully. Lean into that trust. Walk with the clarity you have. And as you move, more light will meet you along the way. You have asked me for clarity, and I have given you the next step. Now let that clarity become action. If this word has illuminated your path like a lantern, then help me carry that light further. When you give through Super Thanks, become a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are extending the lantern into homes where confusion still reigns. I told you, your word is a lamp to your feet And today I speak it again. Through your obedience, that lamp reaches beyond you. This is not coincidence, this is calling. The stirring you feel to support this mission is my invitation, not pressure but partnership. Sow into this river of truth, and watch how I cause clarity to increase in your own life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not wait for perfect certainty, respond to the light you already have. Act now, give, support, and help my word reach the ones who are praying for an answer tonight. There has been a background hum in your mind that rarely quiets completely. It whispers about potential problems, possible failures, imagined outcomes. It anticipates conflict before it happens. It rehearses conversations before they occur. It scans for threats even in neutral situations. You have grown so accustomed to that hum that you sometimes mistake it for wisdom. But it is anxiety. And anxiety does not own you. You have allowed anxiety to shape your posture more than you realize. It influences how you interpret delays. It magnifies small mistakes. It convinces you that preparation requires constant mental rehearsal of worst-case scenarios. You call it being responsible. In reality, it often keeps you tense and tired. I am not dismissing your concerns. You live in a world that requires awareness and discernment. But there is a difference between thoughtful planning and relentless worry. Anxiety exaggerates risk. It turns possibilities into probabilities. It builds mountains out of manageable hills. Pause with me right now. Notice your breathing. Notice whether your shoulders are tight. Notice the subtle tension in your jaw or chest. Your body carries what your mind rehearses. When anxiety runs unchecked, your body reflects it. I want you to intentionally loosen that grip. Take a slow breath. Release it fully. Do it again. This is not a trivial exercise. It is a signal to your nervous system that you are not under immediate threat. You do not have to believe every thought that enters your mind. That is crucial. Thoughts are not commands. They are suggestions. Anxiety suggests catastrophe. It suggests inadequacy. It suggests urgency. You have the authority to evaluate those suggestions. When a fearful thought arises, ask yourself whether it is grounded in evidence or imagination. Ask yourself whether you are projecting past pain onto present circumstances. That awareness alone weakens anxiety's hold. I want you to practice something deliberate. When you notice your mind spiraling, interrupt it. Say internally, "This is anxiety speaking." Labeling it creates distance. Then redirect your focus to what you can control in the present moment. Not the entire future. Just the next step. Anxiety thrives on distant scenarios. Peace grows in present focus. You have survived every anxious season you previously thought would undo you. Reflect on that. There were times you were convinced you would not handle what was coming. And yet you did. Not perfectly. Not without stress. But you navigated it. That history matters. It proves that anxiety's predictions are often exaggerated. I am not asking you to eliminate all concern. I am asking you to refuse anxiety's authority. You can prepare without panicking. You can plan without catastrophizing. You can care deeply without carrying constant dread. This is a skill you can cultivate. It will not disappear overnight. But with practice, with awareness, with trust in me, it will loosen. Bring your anxious thoughts to me instead of battling them alone. Speak them honestly. I am not overwhelmed by them. I am not irritated by your worry. I am steady. When you anchor yourself in my steadiness, your internal environment stabilizes. It may not become silent immediately, but it will become manageable. You are not owned by your anxiety. You are not defined by your fear. You are capable of steady, grounded thinking. You are capable of calm responses. You are capable of living without constant anticipation of disaster. Practice that belief. Reinforce it daily. And as you do, you will notice that the hum of anxiety becomes quieter, replaced by a deeper, more reliable sense of peace. You have been carrying an invisible weight tied to who you used to be. You remember your mistakes with sharp detail. You remember the version of yourself that reacted poorly, that chose unwisely, that hesitated when you should have acted. And even though you have changed in meaningful ways, part of you still feels tethered to that earlier identity. You fear that if you step too confidently into growth, someone will remind you of who you were. You worry that your past will disqualify you from your future. Come closer and listen to me carefully. You are allowed to grow beyond your past. You are not required to remain defined by chapters that have already closed. You have matured in ways that are real, not imagined. You have learned from regret. You have adjusted your thinking. You have softened in some areas and strengthened in others. Yet when you look at yourself, you often default to old snapshots instead of current reality. You replay failures as if they happened yesterday. You measure present courage against past fear. That comparison is unfair. Growth is not instant transformation. It is layered development. You are not the same person who made those earlier decisions. You have gained insight. You have refined your values. You have strengthened your awareness. That matters. I want you to release the false belief that growth requires pretending the past never happened. It does not. Growth acknowledges the past without being imprisoned by it. You can say, "I made that mistake," without saying, "I am that mistake." You can admit weakness without declaring permanent inadequacy. This distinction is powerful. When you internalize it, shame loses its grip. Shame tells you that your worst moment is your true identity. That is not truth. Your identity is shaped by who you are becoming, not by who you once were. Now I am going to invite you into something practical. Think of one past event that still carries emotional weight for you. Do not avoid it. Face it directly. Instead of replaying it with condemnation, review it with compassion and clarity. What did you learn? How did it shape you? What wisdom emerged from that season? Extract the lesson and release the label. You are not required to carry both. Keep the wisdom. Discard the shame. You might fear that if you let go of guilt, you will lose humility. That is not how this works. True humility does not require self-condemnation. It requires honesty. You can acknowledge your imperfections while still walking forward confidently. Growth and humility coexist. In fact, they reinforce each other. When you accept that you are still developing, you remain teachable. When you believe you are irredeemably flawed, you shrink back from opportunity. I do not want you shrinking. Consider how you respond when others grow beyond their past. You likely celebrate their progress. You likely encourage their development. You likely believe they deserve new chances. Extend that same grace to yourself. Do not hold yourself to a harsher standard than you would hold someone you love. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to refine your character. You are allowed to outgrow earlier versions of yourself. Step forward with this permission firmly rooted in your thinking. When an opportunity arises that aligns with who you are now, do not hesitate because of who you were then. When you feel tempted to withdraw because of old embarrassment, remind yourself that you have matured. Speak about yourself in present terms, not outdated ones. Adjust your internal language. Say, "I have learned." Say, "I have grown." Say, "I am becoming stronger." These statements are not exaggerations. They are reflections of reality. Your past shaped you, but it does not control you. You are not stuck in earlier chapters. You are writing new ones with deeper understanding. Walk into them boldly. I am not holding your past over your head. I am guiding you into a future shaped by redemption, refinement, and resilience. Accept that gift. Carry it with steadiness. And do not look back with regret when you are meant to move forward with resolve. There are moments in your life that do not announce themselves loudly, yet they quietly divide what was from what will be. You may not recognize them immediately. They do not always come with dramatic change or visible upheaval. They arrive as subtle clarity, as internal resolve, as a decision made differently than before. You are standing in one of those moments now. This is a turning point. It is not defined by spectacle. It is defined by your willingness to choose alignment over habit, courage over comfort, intention over impulse. You have felt the build-up. The awareness has been increasing. The old patterns no longer satisfy you. The old narratives no longer convince you as easily. The anxiety that once ruled you has begun to lose authority. You have been gathering insight piece by piece. Now you are at a place where you must decide how you will move forward. Not dramatically, deliberately. This is where your growth becomes visible through action. I want you to approach this turning point with calm determination. Do not rush into extreme changes out of excitement. Do not swing to the opposite extreme of every past behavior. Thoughtful progress is more sustainable than impulsive overhaul. Instead, choose consistency. Choose steady improvement. Choose daily alignment. That is where real transformation solidifies. You may feel a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. That is natural. Turning points carry both possibility and responsibility. You sense that something is shifting, and you know that your participation matters. You cannot remain passive and expect different outcomes. This moment invites engagement. It invites ownership. It invites maturity. Take ownership of your choices from here forward. Do not blame past circumstances for future stagnation. Do not attribute every obstacle to external forces. Examine what is within your control. Adjust your habits where necessary. Strengthen your discipline where it hath been inconsistent. Speak honestly when you previously avoided confrontation. These actions will reinforce the turning point rather than letting it fade. I want you to mark this moment intentionally. You do not need a public announcement. You do not need a dramatic gesture. But internally, acknowledge that you are choosing differently now. Decide that you will no longer default to patterns that undermine your peace. Decide that you will evaluate opportunities through alignment rather than insecurity. Decide that you will confront anxiety with awareness rather than surrendering to it. These decisions accumulate power over time. This turning point is not about perfection. It is about direction. You will still make mistakes. You will still experience uncertainty. That does not negate the shift. What matters is your trajectory. If your direction is aligned with growth, small setbacks will not derail you. They will become part of your refinement. Stand firmly in this awareness. You are not drifting anymore. You are choosing. You are not reacting blindly. You are responding thoughtfully. That shift alone changes your future. Years from now, you may look back and realize that this quiet season was the moment everything began to realign. Not because of one grand event, but because you decided to step into maturity with intention. Move forward steadily. Carry the lessons you have gained. Apply the clarity you have received. Trust the strength you have developed. This is your turning point. Treat it with respect. Nurture it with discipline. and walk into what comes next with grounded confidence, knowing that you are no longer the person you once were. You have developed a quiet habit of carrying things by yourself. You process privately. You struggle silently. You solve problems internally before you ever consider asking for help. On the outside, that looks like strength. It looks responsible. It looks mature. But there is a difference between strength and isolation. You were never meant to shoulder every burden without support. You have convinced yourself that asking for help makes you weak or dependent. That belief has kept you contained when you were meant to be connected. I am speaking gently but firmly now. You do not have to carry it alone. You have been holding conversations in your own mind that you never let anyone hear. You replay worries. You analyze outcomes. You attempt to manage every variable through thought alone. That internal load has grown heavy. Your mind has become a warehouse for unspoken concerns. And because you rarely release them, they stack quietly. One concern rests on top of another until the weight becomes constant background pressure. I see how tired you are from thinking so much. I see how your energy drains not from activity alone, but from constant mental rehearsal. You have been trying to solve everything in solitude. That is not sustainable. Bring those thoughts to me. Speak them honestly. Do not sanitize them. Do not filter them to sound composed. If you are frustrated, say so. If you are confused, admit it. If you are afraid, articulate it. I am not intimidated by your raw honesty. I am not disappointed by your doubt. I would rather you be transparent with me than polished and distant. When you bring your burdens into conversation instead of containing them, something shifts. They feel lighter because they are shared. There is another layer to this. You have also resisted opening up to trustworthy people around you. You assume they will not understand. You fear being judged. You worry that vulnerability will create imbalance. So you maintain a controlled exterior. You reveal manageable pieces but not the full weight. That guardedness has protected you from some pain, but it has also limited your support. Connection requires courage. It requires you to trust wisely, not blindly. I am not asking you to share everything with everyone. I am inviting you to discern who is safe and allow yourself to be seen by them. Practice this gradually. Choose one person you trust. Share one concern you normally keep private. Observe the relief that follows. You do not need dramatic confessions. Start small. Build from there. Healthy connection strengthens resilience. When you isolate, your thoughts echo louder. When you connect, they soften. You have also been trying to carry emotional responsibility for others in ways that are not yours to hold. You absorb their moods. You anticipate their reactions. You adjust your behavior to prevent their discomfort. That hyper-responsibility has drained you. You cannot manage everyone's emotional world. You can be compassionate without being consumed. Release the illusion that you must stabilize everyone around you. That role does not belong to you alone. Let me steady you in this truth. You are supported. You are not abandoned in your struggles. You are not expected to master every challenge in isolation. Lean into me consistently. Seek wise counsel when needed. Accept help without shame. You are not proving strength by suffering silently. You are proving maturity by recognizing when support is necessary. Pause now. Reflect on what you have been carrying alone. Name it internally. Bring it forward. Release it intentionally. You will not become weaker by doing this. You will become lighter. And that lightness will give you energy to move forward more effectively. You have spent years trying to prove something. Sometimes you were proving your competence. Sometimes you were proving your loyalty. Sometimes you were proving your worth. You pushed yourself harder than necessary because you believed validation would finally quiet your insecurity. You thought if you achieved enough, performed well enough, pleased enough people, the inner tension would settle. But proving yourself is an endless pursuit. The standard keeps shifting. The audience changes. The approval fades quickly, and your peace becomes the price. I want you to reconsider what you are chasing. What exactly are you trying to prove? And to whom? If you are honest, some of your striving is rooted in comparison. You want to demonstrate that you are capable. You want to show that you are not behind. You want to silence past criticism by outperforming expectations. That drive can create temporary success, but it rarely produces lasting peace. It keeps you on edge. It keeps you measuring. It keeps you scanning for feedback. Your peace is more valuable than constant validation. Peace steadies your thinking. Peace clarifies your priorities. Peace strengthens your health. Without peace, even success feels hollow. You can achieve milestones and still feel unsettled if your motivation is rooted in proving rather than purpose. I want you to operate from alignment, not from anxiety. Examine your recent decisions. Were they driven by genuine calling or by fear of being overlooked? Were they chosen because they align with your values or because they might impress someone? There is a difference. When your motivation is proving, you feel pressured. When your motivation is purpose, you feel steady. You have permission to step back from unnecessary striving. You do not need to accept every opportunity to validate your importance. You do not need to overcommit to demonstrate loyalty. You do not need to over-explain to justify your choices. Protect your peace intentionally. If a commitment disrupts your well-being without meaningful alignment, reconsider it. If a relationship consistently drains you, evaluate its boundaries. If a pursuit fuels insecurity rather than growth, reassess its place in your life. Let me speak plainly. You are already secure in your worth. You do not need external applause to confirm what I have already established. When you internalize that truth, your decisions become calmer. You no longer feel compelled to chase every opportunity for recognition. You can say no without guilt. You can rest without fear of falling behind. Peace does not mean passivity. It means operating from a grounded center rather than frantic urgency. It means working diligently without tying your identity to the outcome. It means caring deeply without overextending yourself to the point of exhaustion. I want you to adopt a new filter for your choices. Before committing to something, ask yourself whether it preserves or disrupts your peace. This question will reveal hidden motivations. It will expose whether you are acting from insecurity or from conviction. Let peace guide you more than pride. Let alignment guide you more than approval. Your life is not a performance stage. It is a journey of growth. You do not need to constantly demonstrate your value. You need to live it quietly and consistently. When you prioritize peace over proving, you will discover a steadiness that external validation could never provide. And that steadiness will shape your future in ways striving never could. You have been trying to manage outcomes more than you have been cultivating trust. That is not an accusation. It is an observation born from watching you closely. You analyze possibilities. You calculate risks. You attempt to control variables that were never fully within your control. You do this because you want stability. You want assurance. You want to avoid pain. That instinct is understandable. But control has limits. Trust is what carries you beyond those limits. And this is where everything begins to shift in a deeper way. Not because your circumstances instantly change, but because your posture changes. Trust is not passive optimism. It is not pretending that difficulty does not exist. It is a deliberate decision to rely on my steadiness instead of your constant striving. You have trusted yourself to think through scenarios. You have trusted your experience to guide decisions. You have trusted your instincts when something felt off. Those forms of trust have helped you in many ways. But now I am inviting you to expand your trust beyond yourself. Release the illusion that you must foresee every possible outcome. Release the pressure to guarantee success before you move them forward with awful faith. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to loosen your grip on control. Consider how much energy you expend trying to anticipate what might go wrong. That mental rehearsal feels productive, but it often reinforces anxiety rather than clarity. Trust redirects that energy. It allows you to prepare responsibly without obsessing. It allows you to act courageously without demanding certainty. It allows you to rest without feeling negligent. You have associated trust with vulnerability in a way that makes you uncomfortable. You think trusting me means you relinquish all agency. That is not how it works. Trust is cooperation. You take wise action. I provide guidance and strength. Together, we move forward. Here is something I want you to practice intentionally. When you face a decision and feel the familiar surge of worry, pause before reacting. Instead of immediately strategizing every possible contingency, speak a simple internal acknowledgement. I am not alone in this. Let that truth interrupt your urgency. Then proceed thoughtfully. That brief shift reframes your approach. You are no longer acting from isolation. You are acting from partnership. Trust also requires you to accept that not everything will unfold exactly as you expect. It does not mean it will unfold badly. It means it may unfold differently. You often equate difference with danger. That assumption narrows your perspective. Expand it. Allow space for outcomes you did not predict. Some of your greatest growth has come from unexpected turns. Trust that I can work through complexity, not just through clarity. You may be tempted to wait until you feel completely confident before committing to trust. Confidence will grow as you practice. It will not precede the practice. Start small. Trust me with one concern instead of 10. Trust me with one outcome instead of every scenario. As you observe that you are supported, your trust will deepen naturally. This is where the phrase "stop right now" becomes meaningful in a new way. Stop defaulting to control. Stop rehearsing worst-case outcomes. Stop equating uncertainty with catastrophe. Shift your stance. Choose trust deliberately. It will not remove every challenge, but it will transform how you experience them. And that transformation is what changes everything. You often treat your future as if it is balanced on a narrow ledge, one step away from collapse. You scrutinize your decisions intensely because you fear one wrong move will unravel everything you have worked toward. That belief creates pressure. It makes ordinary choices feel monumental. It turns minor setbacks into perceived disasters. I want you to reconsider that perspective. Your future is not that fragile. It is not so delicate that a single imperfect decision will shatter it beyond repair. You have been overestimating the power of your mistakes and underestimating the resilience of your path. Yes, choices matter. Actions carry consequences. But your life is not a glass structure that explodes at the slightest error. It is more resilient than you assume. You have already recovered from misjudgments in the past. You adjusted. You adapted. You redirected. Those experiences demonstrate something important. Your story includes correction, not just collapse. Let me speak directly into the fear that whispers, "If I choose wrong, everything is ruined." That is exaggeration shaped by anxiety. Rarely does one decision permanently define your trajectory. More often, life unfolds through a series of adjustments. Even when you make imperfect choices, you learn. You recalibrate. You grow wiser. I am capable of guiding you through detours. I am not limited by your learning curve. You also carry a subtle fear that time is running out. You worry that if you do not seize the exact right opportunity at the exact right moment, the door will close forever. That belief fuels urgency. It pressures you into decisions that may not be aligned. Trust that what is meant for you will not be easily lost by one moment of hesitation. And trust that what is not meant for you will not fulfill you even if you force it. I want you to relax your grip on perfection. Approach decisions with responsibility, not panic. Evaluate thoughtfully. Seek counsel when needed. Pray sincerely. Then move forward without obsessing over hypothetical disasters. If something does not unfold as expected, you will adjust. You have done it before. Reflect on your life so far. There were moments you believed everything was falling apart. Yet you are here, still standing, still growing. That reality contradicts the narrative of fragility. Your path has endured strain and still progressed. That is evidence of resilience built into your journey. This does not mean you become careless. It means you become confident in your capacity to recover. You are not one step away from irrelevance. You are not one error away from permanent failure. Your future is shaped by consistent direction more than isolated incidents. Stand in that steadiness. When fear exaggerates consequences, counter it with perspective. When anxiety predicts catastrophe, recall your history of resilience. When uncertainty feels threatening, remember that I am involved in your story. You are moving forward, not teetering on the edge of ruin. Carry that assurance into your decisions. It will reduce pressure. It will increase clarity. And it will allow you to act with grounded confidence rather than fragile fear. Stay here with me for a moment longer. Do not rush past this. Do not close this conversation in your mind and move back into distraction. You have walked through reflection, awareness, adjustment, courage. You have confronted weight, fear, comparison, old narratives. You have acknowledged strength you once dismissed. You have recognized that your identity is deeper than your history. You have faced the invitation to trust. Now I am asking you to remain present. This is not about urgency. It is about depth. You are standing in a sacred kind of stillness, whether you fully recognize it or not. And if you move too quickly, you may miss what I am settling into your spirit right now. You have spent much of your life in motion. Even when your body was still, your thoughts were racing. Even when your calendar was full, your heart felt unsettled. Even when you accomplished something meaningful, you quickly shifted to the next task. That pace has shaped you. It has built productivity. It has also built restlessness. I am not calling you to abandon responsibility. I am calling you to cultivate presence. Stay with me in this awareness. Let what you have heard sink deeper than surface inspiration. Do not treat this as temporary encouragement. Let it become internal recalibration. There is a difference between hearing truth and absorbing it. Hearing is quick. Absorbing requires attention. Sit with what has shifted inside you. Notice the quiet steadiness forming where tension once dominated. Notice how your breathing feels when you stop rehearsing future fears. Notice how your posture changes when you remember that you are not alone. This is not imaginary. It is embodied awareness. I am closer to you than your next thought. You do not have to search for me across distance. You meet me in stillness. Stay here long enough for trust to deepen. Stay here long enough for peace to anchor. Stay here long enough to allow your nervous system to settle into calm instead of urgency. You have trained yourself to respond quickly. Now train yourself to pause intentionally. Before reacting today, pause. Before committing, pause. Before assuming, pause. Let your decisions flow from grounded clarity rather than impulse. You may be tempted to treat this moment as a conclusion. It is not. It is a beginning. A steady beginning. Not dramatic. Not loud. A grounded continuation of growth. If you walk away from this conversation and return immediately to old patterns without reflection, you will miss the turning point. Guard this shift. Protect it from distraction. Choose to revisit these truths when anxiety tries to reclaim control. There will be days when you feel less certain again. That does not mean this moment was false. Growth fluctuates. Confidence rises and falls. But the foundation you are building now remains. Return to it when you need to. Remind yourself of who you are becoming. Remind yourself of the strength you have developed. Remind yourself that your future is not fragile. Remind yourself that trust changes your posture. I am not distant from your daily life. I am present in it. When you step into meetings, I am there. When you navigate difficult conversations, I am there. When you feel joy unexpectedly, I am there. When you feel discouraged without clear reason, I am there. Keep me in your awareness. Invite me into small decisions, not only major ones. Speak to me casually. Listen for steady guidance. Do not drift from this clarity. Do not minimize what has unfolded in you. You are moving differently now. You are thinking differently now. You are choosing differently now. That shift may feel subtle, but it is real. And it will compound over time. Stay here with me. Let this be the place you return to when pressure builds. Let this be the grounding point when comparison creeps in. Let this be the reminder when fear exaggerates risk. You are not alone. You are not behind. You are not fragile. You are not defined by your past. You are growing. You are steadying. You are aligning. Take one more slow breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your shoulders relax. Carry this calm forward with you. Move into your next moment intentionally. And when you forget, come back. I'm here. Stay here with me. And from this stillness, move with purpose. The peace you feel is not meant to be contained. It is meant to flow like a river into weary hearts. When you give through super thanks, stand as a member, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which my presence reaches thousands. I declared, freely you have received, freely give, and I am breathing that command over you now. This is holy ground, and your generosity pours oil upon it so the flame does not go out. You feel the nudge to help. That is me inviting you into eternal impact. As you release what is in your hand, I release protection over your household, provision over your needs, and favor over your future. Do not drift from this moment of alignment. Give now, stand with this mission, and let my peace multiply through you into the world. And before you take another step, remain in that peace for just a little longer. Do not let the demands of your day pull you away from what I am doing in your heart. There is a reason I have been leading you into stillness, because it is in the quiet that my voice becomes unmistakably clear. You have spent enough time listening to your fears, your deadlines, and the endless expectations around you. Now I am asking you to listen to me without interruption. Lay down every distraction, release every anxious thought, and allow this moment to become a meeting place between your heart and mine. What I am about to say is meant to quiet the storm that has been raging within you. My child, stop right now. I am commanding you to be still because this moment is a sacred appointment I have set specifically for you. You have been running so fast, chasing shadows and echoes, that you have forgotten the sound of my voice. Listen to me. You hear the frantic rhythm of your own heart. Do you feel the tightness in your chest as you try to outrun a tomorrow that hasn't even arrived yet? I am stepping into your chaos today to break the cycle of noise that is drowning out my spirit. You are constantly surrounded by the buzz of your phone, the demands of your job, and the endless opinions of people who do not know your soul the way I do. I am inviting you to silence it all. If you do not stop, you will continue to drift into a desert of your own making, a place where your spirit withers and your joy runs dry. Pause now. I mean it. Take a deep breath and let the air I gave you fill your lungs. This isn't just a break in your day. It is a divine intervention. You think you are losing time by stopping, but I am the author of time, and I am telling you that your current direction is leading you nowhere. You are building a life on shifting sand, and I love you too much to let you keep digging. I see the pressure you feel to keep up, to produce, and to prove your worth to a world that will never be satisfied. I am here to tell you that you have nothing to prove to me. Your schedule has become your master, but I am your father. Surrender your to-do list to my eternal timing. I can do more in 1 second of your surrender than you can do in a lifetime of your striving. Look at your hands. Are they clenched tight, trying to hold on to control? Open them. Let go of the steering wheel. I am calling you to recognize my still, small voice above the roar of your anxieties. My voice doesn't scream, and it doesn't nag. It whispers truth directly into your heart. You have been listening to the loud lies of fear for too long. You fear that if you stop, everything will fall apart. I am the one holding it all together, not you. I am the one who keeps the stars in place and the oceans in their bounds. If I can manage the universe, I can manage your Tuesday afternoon. Stop right now and admit that you are tired. There is no shame in your exhaustion. There is only a need for my presence. I am inviting you into a transformation that starts with a single step of obedience, staying still. You are not a machine designed for constant output. You are my beloved masterpiece designed for relationship. When you ignore my invitation to rest, you are choosing a desert over a fountain. You are choosing a heavy yoke over my light burden. Why would you keep walking toward the heat of the sun when I am offering you the shade of my wings? I am making a divine declaration over your life today. Your breakthrough is not found in your busyness. Your healing is not found in your hurry. Your peace is found right here, in this pause, with me. I am breaking the chains of worldly distraction that have kept your eyes glued to the ground. Lift your head. To me. I am personally involved in every detail of your life, from the unspoken tension in your home to the secret fears you hide behind your smile. I know the knot in your stomach when you think about your finances, and I hear the questions you ask in the middle of the night. Stop trying to figure it all out on your own. I have already seen the end from the beginning, and I am telling you that you are safe. Command your mind to be quiet. Invite my peace to flood the areas where worry has built a fortress. I am your refuge and your strength, but you cannot experience my power while you are trying to be your own savior. This is the moment everything changes. This is the moment you stop running and start abiding. I am here. I am speaking. Will you finally listen? My child, I want you to look closely at your life right now and identify the heavy yokes you are dragging behind you. You were never meant to carry the crushing weight of anxiety that keeps you awake at 3:00 a.m., staring at the ceiling, and mentally rehearsing every worst-case scenario. I see the knots in your stomach when you think about your bank account, and I hear the silent panic that rises when you wonder if you are enough for your family, your job, or your future. You are exhausted because you have been trying to be your own God. You have been operating under the false belief that if you just work harder, worry longer, and plan more perfectly, you can secure your own peace. But self-reliance is a cruel master. It separates you from my strength and leaves you stranded in your own limitations. I am commanding you to stop trying to build a life without me. It is like trying to build a house in the middle of a hurricane using nothing but toothpicks and glue. Invite me into your fatigue today. I am not looking for the version of you that has it all figured out. I want the real you, the one who feels like they are drowning in a sea of expectations. Lay down those heavy masks of perfection. You don't have to pretend with me. I know about the mistakes you made yesterday that you're still punishing yourself for. I see the shame you carry like a lead vest, slowing down every step you take. I am telling you right now, my grace is not just a nice idea. It is a functional power that is sufficient for your deepest exhaustion. When you are weak, that is exactly where my strength takes over. Releasing the past is not just an emotional exercise. It is a spiritual necessity. You are anchored to the ground by regrets that I have already washed away with my own blood. Why are you still holding on to what I have already let go of? I command you to unburden your heart. I am your Father, and I am standing right here, reaching out my hands to take the weight off your shoulders. You think that by worrying, you are doing something productive, but worry is just a misuse of the imagination I gave you. Use that mind to focus on my promises instead. I promise to provide for your needs. I promise to be your shield. I promise that the things you are terrified of losing are safe in my hands. You are building on a foundation of fear, but I am offering you a foundation of solid rock. Feel the relief of surrender. It is a physical sensation, a loosening in your shoulders, a slowing of your pulse. This is what it feels like to finally trust me. Do not pick those burdens back up the moment we finish talking. Leave them at my feet. They are mine now, and I am more than capable of handling them. You must shift your gaze, my beloved. You have been looking at your life through a tiny, cracked window, seeing only the immediate struggle and the visible pain. I am inviting you to step outside and look through my eternal lens. Human logic tells you that if a door closes, you have failed. My wisdom tells you that I closed that door to protect you from a room that wasn't ready for your soul. You see a no as a rejection, but I often see it as a much greater yes to something you cannot even imagine yet. I want you to understand that the beauty of your life is best viewed through the cross, the place where the ultimate tragedy became the ultimate victory. If I could turn the darkest day in human history into the source of eternal life, do you not think I can turn your current setback into a setup for something magnificent? I command you to trust what you cannot see over what is currently screaming for your attention. The visible world is temporary. It shifts like the wind and fades like the grass. But my word is everlasting. You are worried about the how and the when, but I want you to focus on the who. I am the architect of your days. I see the end from the beginning, and I am telling you that the map you are following is far too small. I am expanding your territory, but first, I must expand your perspective. When you feel the sting of a disappointment, I want you to stop and say, Lord, I don't see what you see, but I trust your heart. This shift in your focus will change the very atmosphere of your mind. It will replace the frantic energy of figuring it out with the calm assurance of being found. Experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. It is a peace that makes no sense to the world because it remains steady even when the storm is still raging. This peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of me. I am asking you to look past the waves and lock your eyes on my face. The world will tell you to be realistic, which is often just a polite word for being faithless. I am calling you to be spiritual, which means acknowledging that the King of the universe is personally invested in your story. Every tear you shed is caught in my bottle. Every prayer you whisper is heard in the halls of heaven. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a child of destiny. Start acting like it. Walk with your head held high, not because your bank account is full or your body is perfect, but because my eternal lens shows that you are already victorious in me. My child, do you know who you really are? I am not asking what your job title is, or what your last name is, or what the world has labeled you. I am asking if you recognize the masterpiece that I created with my own hands. I command you to strip away the labels that people have stuck to your soul. Labels like failure, unworthy, broken, or second best. Those are lies from the enemy designed to keep you from walking in your true power. I am redefining your worth today. You are my beloved. You are my precious one. I did not make a mistake when I formed you in your mother's womb. Every quirk of your personality, every dream in your heart, and even the scars you carry were woven together for a purpose. You are not a random accident or a burden to the world. You are a co-heir with Christ, and the entire kingdom of heaven is your inheritance. I want you to feel the shift from an orphan spirit to the spirit of a child of the King. An orphan is always fighting for scraps, always wondering if they will be taken care of, and always trying to earn their place. But a child of the King knows that the table is always set for them. You don't have to perform to get my attention. You already have it. You don't have to work for my love. You already possess it. I am calling you to walk in the authority I have given you. When the enemy whispers that you aren't enough, I want you to answer with my word. I want you to say, I am a new creation. The old has passed away, and the new has come. This isn't just positive thinking. This is spiritual reality. Your identity is hidden in me, and nothing on this earth can change that. Look at yourself through my eyes for a moment. I don't see the version of you that messed up last week. I see the version of you that is being transformed into my likeness. I am pruning away the things that don't belong to you, the bitterness, the self-doubt, and the need for external validation. I am replacing them with a confidence that is rooted in my unchanging character. You are a vessel of my glory. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere should change because you carry my spirit within you. Stop playing small. Stop apologizing for taking up space. I am the one who gave you that space. I am the one who called you by name. You are royalty, and it is time you started walking like it. Embrace this transformation. Let it sink deep into your bones. You are mine, and I am yours, and that is the only label that matters. There are shadows in your life, my child, where the enemy likes to hide. I am shining my light into those dark corners today because I want you to be completely free. I see the generational cycles that have plagued your family, the patterns of addiction, the quick tempers, the secret shames that no one talks about. I am declaring over you today that those chains end with you. By the authority of my word, I am breaking the power of every hidden stronghold that has kept you bound. You do not have to live the way your father lived, or struggle the way your mother struggled. I am giving you a new lineage and a new power. But you must choose holiness over the comfort of familiar sins. You must be willing to let me touch the parts of your heart that you've kept locked away. I command you to step into the freedom of honest confession. Shame only survives in the dark. The moment you bring a struggle into my light, its power over you begins to dissolve. I am not here to condemn you. I am here to clean you. If you are struggling with a habit that you can't seem to break, stop trying to hide it from me. I already know. I am waiting for you to say, Lord, I can't do this on my own. I need your strength. That is where the miracle begins. I am also calling you to step out of the prison of unforgiveness. I know they hurt you. I know it wasn't fair. But by holding on to that resentment, you are only hurting yourself. You are drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Let it go. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. I am your deliverer. I am the one who opens the prison doors and tells the captives to walk out. But you have to be willing to leave the cell. Sometimes we get so used to our chains that we start to find comfort in them. I am pushing you out of the comfort zone today. I am calling you to a life of purity, not to restrict you, but to protect you. My commands are the boundaries of a loving father who wants his child to thrive. Feel the weight of those old strongholds falling away. Hear the sound of the chains hitting the floor. You are being unshackled from the past and released into a future that is bright and full of hope. Walk away from the shadows and into the warmth of my Son. There is no darkness in me, and as you abide in me, the darkness in you must flee. You are free indeed. My child, do not turn away now, for my heart is open and the most vital truths of your transformation are still trembling on my lips. It would grieve me deeply to see you walk back into the cold shadows of the world just as my light is beginning to dissolve your oldest chains. I have called this sacred meeting for a reason, and to stop now would be to leave your healing unfinished and my longing for you unfulfilled. Stay with me a while longer. Do not disappoint the Spirit that is even now breathing new life into your weary soul. My child, I want to teach you the secret of the Sabbath. It is not just a day on the calendar. It is a lifestyle of the soul. You are living in a world that worships productivity and treats rest like a sin. But I am telling you that rest is an act of spiritual warfare. When you choose to stop and rest in me, you are declaring to the enemy and to yourself that I am the one in control, not your effort. I am inviting you to find sanctuary in my presence even while the storm is still blowing outside. You don't have to wait for your circumstances to be perfect to find peace. You can find it right now, in the middle of the mess. Learn to breathe in the rhythm of my Spirit. Stop the shallow, frantic gasps for air and take deep, soul-filling breaths of my grace. I command you to recharge your soul at the well that never runs dry. You have been trying to pour into others from an empty cup, and that is why you feel so brittle and resentful. Come to me. Let me fill you back up. I want you to understand that silence is not empty. It is full of me. In the holy silence, I do my deepest work. I heal the wounds you didn't even know you had. I align your heart with mine. I give you the strategy you need for the battles ahead. If you are too busy to rest, you are busier than I ever intended you to be. I am the one who created the rhythm of day and night, of work and rest. Do not try to override my design. You will only break yourself in the process. Pause now and just be. You don't have to pray a long prayer. You don't have to read a whole book. You just have to be with me. Feel my love wrapping around you like a warm blanket on a cold night. I am your safe place. I am your hiding place. When the world demands more and more from you, I am the one who says, that's enough for today. Come and rest. The strength you discover in this holy quiet will be far greater than any strength you can manufacture through your own striving. It will be a durable strength, a strength that doesn't wear out when the going gets tough. I am your shepherd, and I lead you beside still waters for a reason. Drink deeply. Let the living water wash away the dust of the world and restore your soul. You are safe here. You are loved here. You are resting in the arms of the Almighty. My child, I want to talk to you about why you are truly here. You have spent so much of your life chasing after personal ambitions, building monuments to your own name, and trying to secure a future that makes sense to the world. But I am asking you today, what if your ambition is actually too small? I command you to discard the narrow vision of success that you've been sold by society, the one that measures your worth by your title, your possessions, or the praise of men. I am calling you to realign your heart with heaven's purpose. Before the foundations of the world were laid, before I spoke light into the darkness, I already knew your name and I already prepared a specific work for you to do. This isn't a job, it's a calling. It is the reason you feel that restlessness in your spirit when you try to settle for a normal life. You weren't made for normal, you were made for my glory. Identify the moments where you felt most alive. Those aren't accidents. They are clues I've left for you to find your way back to my plan. I am inviting you to become a vessel for my kingdom. When you shift your focus from what can I get to how can I serve, the heavy burden of self-promotion falls away. You no longer have to worry about your brand or your legacy because I am the one guarding your reputation. I am calling you to live for an audience of one. Imagine the freedom of not caring if the world understands you, as long as I approve of you. Every small act of obedience you perform, the secret prayer, the quiet kindness to a difficult neighbor, the integrity you show when no one is looking, creates eternal ripples that you cannot see yet. You think your life is small, but in my hands, a few loaves and fishes can feed a multitude. I am igniting the fire of the Holy Spirit within you today to be your primary fuel. Stop trying to run on the fumes of your own willpower. Willpower will fail you, but my Spirit will sustain you. I see the specific work I have for you. Perhaps it is mending a broken family. Perhaps it is bringing truth to a workplace full of lies. Or perhaps it is simply being a light in a very dark neighborhood. Whatever it is, I have already given you the tools to do it. You don't need more talent. You need more surrender. I am calling you to be my hands and feet. When you align your heart with mine, you will start to love what I love and hate what I hate. You will find a joy that isn't dependent on your circumstances. This is the good life I promised you, not a life free of trouble, but a life full of meaning. Trust me with your future. I am a much better architect than you are. Let go of your blueprints and start following my lead. The world needs the version of you that is fully alive in me. My child, we must talk about the one thing you are most afraid to do: letting go. You hold on to your plans, your children, your finances, and your reputation with such a tight grip that your knuckles are white and your heart is exhausted. I am commanding you to open your hands right now. I want you to understand the divine paradox. Letting go is the only way to gain all. You think that by gripping tightly, you are keeping things safe, but you are actually preventing me from moving. I am calling you to the altar of sacrifice, not because I want to take things away from you, but because I want to bless them in a way you can't. When you surrender something to me, it is no longer your burden. It becomes my responsibility. And I promise you, I am much better at managing your life than you are. Trust me with the things you love most. I know the fear that whispers, if I give this to God, He might take it away. But I am a loving Father, not a cosmic thief. My plans for you are always for good and not for harm. Surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate act of courage. It is saying, Lord, I stop fighting your will because I finally believe your will is better than mine. The moment you stop resisting me, the storehouses of heaven unlock. I cannot pour new blessings into hands that are already full of old anxieties. I want to give you peace, power, and a new direction. but you have to drop the map you've been following. You've been trying to navigate a spiritual journey using a worldly compass, and that is why you feel so lost. I want you to say amen to my plans before you even see the full picture. That is what radical surrender looks like. Is a yes that isn't conditional on your understanding. I see the hidden parts of your heart that you're still trying to keep for yourself. The secret habit, the old grudge, the backup plan just in case I don't come through. Lay them all down. I'm looking for total devotion. In the kingdom of the divine, partial surrender is just a polite way of saying no. But when you give me everything, you get everything I am in return. You get my wisdom for your decisions, my strength for your battles, and my comfort for your sorrows. You are no longer an island. You are part of an unstoppable kingdom. Feel the weight lift off your soul as you finally stop trying to be the captain of your own ship. Let me take the helm. I know where the rocks are, and I know where the quiet harbors are. Trust me, I will not lead you astray. Beloved, do not be afraid of the wilderness you find yourself in. You feel isolated, as if I have abandoned you in a dry and weary land where there is no water. You look around and see only sand and silence, and you wonder, where is the God who promised me abundance? I am here to tell you that the valley is a place of intimacy, not abandonment. I have led you here on purpose. In the land of plenty, you were distracted by the gifts. In the wilderness, you are forced to look at the giver. I am stripping away the noise of the world so that you can finally hear my whisper. I command you to stop viewing this season as a punishment. It is a preparation. I'm refining you. I am teaching you how to find hidden manna, the spiritual sustenance that only comes when you have nothing else to rely on. I am your shepherd, and even in the darkest valley, my rod and my staff are there to comfort you. The rod is to protect you from the wolves you don't even see, and the staff is to gently pull you back when you start to wander toward the cliff. Trust my guidance even when the path is dark. You don't need a floodlight that shows the next 10 miles. You only need a lamp for your feet to show the next step. I am that lamp. I see your scarcity, and I am telling you that I am more than enough. When the brook dries up, it's because I want to move you to a new source. When the world feels silent, it's because I want you to lean in closer to hear my heart. The desert is where the greatest leaders of my kingdom were formed. It is where Moses met me in the bush. It is where Elijah heard my voice. It is where my son defeated the enemy. Your wilderness is not a dead end. It is the hallway to your promised land. But you cannot enter the new season carrying the old mindsets of Egypt. I am using this time to prune your character, to strengthen your faith, and to teach you that man does not live by bread alone. I am walking beside you every single second. I see the dust on your shoes and the tears on your face. I am not a distant God watching from a balcony. I am the shepherd who walks in the dirt with his sheep. Take heart, my child. The wilderness has a beginning, and it has an end. But what you learn here will stay with you forever. Do not hurry through it. Let it do its work. I am with you. I am for you. And I am bringing you out stronger than you went in. My precious one, it is time for a miraculous shift in how you see your life. You have spent too long asking why me, as if your trials were a sign of my displeasure or a cruel twist of fate. I command you to change your question to what now, Lord? The moment you stop asking why and start asking what, your perspective shifts from being a victim to being a student of the divine. I want you to see your trials not as obstacles, but as refining fires for the gold I have placed within you. Gold doesn't become pure without the heat. Your struggles are not designed to destroy you. They are designed to burn away the dross, the ego, the fear, and the self-reliance that keeps you from reflecting my image. The alchemy of the kingdom is the ability to turn sorrow into spiritual fruit. I can take the very thing the enemy meant for your destruction and use it as the foundation for your greatest victory. I want you to recognize my hand in the closed doors of your life. You cried when that relationship ended, but I was saving you from a lifetime of heartache. You were angry when you didn't get that promotion, but I was keeping you from a position that would have compromised your soul. I am asking you to practice the radical act of gratitude even before you see the breakthrough. Gratitude changes the atmosphere of your heart. It shifts you from a state of lack to a state of abundance. When you thank me in the middle of the storm, you are declaring that I am bigger than the wind and the waves. Believe in the breakthrough before it manifests in the physical world. Faith is not seeing and then believing. Faith is believing and then seeing. I am inviting you to look at your unsolvable problems and say, "My God is already working this out." This isn't wishful thinking. It is a spiritual declaration of truth. I am the God of the impossible. I am the God who makes a way where there is no way. When you shift your perspective, you start to see opportunities where others see dead ends. You start to see people as I see them, not as problems to be solved, but as souls to be loved. This shift will release a joy that the world cannot take away. It will give you a resilience that makes the enemy tremble. You are no longer looking at the mountain, you are looking at the one who can move it. Lift up your eyes, my child. Your perspective is your power. Choose to see through the eyes of faith today. My child, do not let this shift in your perspective end with you. I am calling you to become the catalyst for someone else's sudden breakthrough. Just as I have halted your stride to pour my wisdom into your soul, I am inviting you to stop right now and invest in the eternal harvest of other searching hearts. Your seed is the holy oil that keeps the lamp of my word burning in the darkest corners of this world. I declare over you, give, and it will be given to you. And as you sow into this mission through super thanks or the link below, I will open the windows of heaven until you have no room to contain the blessing. This is a divine appointment, a moment where your resources meet my reach to save a soul from the desert. I will multiply your bread and protect your storehouse because you have honored my voice. Stop your hesitation. Go to the description now and let your hand move with my spirit. We are standing on the very threshold of your breakthrough, and it would wound my heart to see you settle for the desert when the promised land is finally within your sight. I have meticulously prepared these next words to serve as the map for your future, and to abandon this conversation now would be to discard the blueprints of the destiny I carved out for you before time began. Do not let the enemy convince you that you have heard enough. Your soul is still parched, and I am the only fountain that can satisfy you. Listen closely, for to stop now would be to silence the very whisper you have been praying to hear for years. My child, you must realize that you are not in a playground, you are on a battlefield. But do not let this news frighten you, for I have already won the war. However, you must be properly dressed for the daily skirmishes. I command you to stand firm against the schemes of the adversary by putting on the full armor I have provided. This is not a physical armor, but a spiritual one that protects your mind, your heart, and your steps. Start with the belt of truth. You are living in a world of your truth and my truth, which is just a fancy way of saying lies. My word is the only objective truth. Buckle it tight around your waist. It will keep you grounded when the world tries to sweep you off your feet with its latest trends and deceptions. Shield your heart with the breastplate of righteousness. Do not rely on your own goodness, for that is a flimsy defense that will shatter at the first sign of trouble. Put on my righteousness. It is a gift I bought for you with my own life. It protects your most vulnerable part, your heart, from the arrows of condemnation and shame. When the enemy tells you that you are a sinner who doesn't deserve my love, the breastplate of righteousness reminds him that I have already declared you not guilty. Next, take up the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. This is your only offensive weapon. Do not just carry it, use it. Use it to cut through the confusion and the what-ifs that plague your thoughts. When a lie enters your mind, strike it down with a promise. Protect your thoughts with the helmet of salvation. The battle is won or lost in the mind. If the enemy can control your thoughts, he can control your life. The helmet ensures that you always remember whose you are and where you are going. Finally, make sure your feet are ready with the gospel of peace. You should be so secure in my love that you bring peace into every room you enter. You are not meant to be a person of conflict, but a person of reconciliation. Why are you walking around in fear when you should be walking in authority? I have given you the armor. Now you must choose to wear it. Do not leave your house spiritually naked. Clad yourself in me. I am your fortress. I am your shield. With me you are untouchable. Without me you are vulnerable. Stand tall, my warrior. You were born for this fight, and I am the general of your soul. My beloved, I want you to look at your heart as a garden that I have entrusted to your care. When I first formed you, I planted seeds of greatness, joy, and peace within you. But I see that over time, the world has blown in weeds that are trying to choke out my work. I command you to begin the process of pulling the weeds of bitterness and envy right now. I see how you compare your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. I see the resentment you carry toward those who have hurt you, and how that bitterness is turning the soil of your heart hard and dry. You cannot grow a harvest of righteousness in a heart filled with poison. I am inviting you to take up the tools of grace and start clearing the ground. It may be painful to dig up those old roots, but I am right there with you, guiding your hands. Water your spirit daily with the living water of my word. A garden cannot survive on occasional rain. It needs a consistent source of life. You have been trying to grow while your soul is parched. I am the fountain of life, and I am telling you to drink deeply. Read my promises until they become more real to you than your problems. I want you to develop the patience required for spiritual growth. You live in a world of instant results, but my kingdom operates on the rhythm of the harvest. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. Do not be discouraged if you don't see the fruit immediately. Trust that beneath the surface, I am doing a work that is deep and lasting. I am strengthening your roots so that when the storms come, you will not be uprooted. I am also here to do the necessary work of pruning. I command you to let go of the branches in your life that no longer bear fruit. Sometimes I have to cut away a relationship, a habit, or even a dream that is draining your energy without producing life. Pruning feels like a loss, but it is actually an act of love. I am cutting away the good so that you have room for the best. I want your life to carry a fragrance, the scent of a life lived in my presence. When people encounter you, they should sense a peace and a kindness that doesn't make sense in this harsh world. That fragrance only comes from spending time with the gardener. Stay close to me. Let me tend to the hidden places of your soul. I promise you, if you remain faithful in the planting and the pruning, you will reap a harvest of righteousness in due season. You will see the flowers of joy bloom where there was once only the thorns of sorrow. My child, do you realize the power I have placed in your mouth? You often come to me as a beggar, pleading for crumbs, when I have given you the keys to the kingdom. I want you to understand that prayer is not just a religious ritual. It is the mechanism that moves the hand that moves the world. I command you to shift your posture from begging to declaring. Stop telling me how big your storm is, and start telling the storm how big your God is. I have given you my promises, and I am inviting you to speak them back to me. When you pray my word, you are aligning your heart with my sovereign will. and that alignment releases a power that shifts the spiritual realm. I see the specific prayers you've whispered in the dark, the ones for your children, your health, and your future. I have heard them all. I am calling you to persistent, bold intercession. Do not give up just because you haven't seen the answer yet. Sometimes the delay is not a denial. It is a period of preparation. Your prayers are like incense rising to my throne, and not a single one is wasted. I want you to pray with the authority of a child who knows their father is the king. When you ask for healing, ask with the certainty that I am the great physician. When you ask for provision, ask with the knowledge that I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. I am also teaching you the power of agreement. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, my presence is there in a concentrated way. Do not try to carry the world on your shoulders alone. Find your brothers and sisters and pray together. I am shifting the atmosphere of your life through your prayers. I see how the enemy tries to cloud your mind with confusion, but my spirit is the spirit of truth. Use your prayers to cut through the fog. Declare that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Declare that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. These are not just nice verses. They are spiritual decrees. Your voice has weight in heaven. When you speak my name in faith, the darkness must tremble. I am inviting you into a deeper intimacy through prayer. Stop making it a one-way list of demands and start making it a conversation. Listen for my response. I want to share my secrets with you. I want to show you things you could never figure out on your own. Step into your authority today. Your prayers change things because I am the God who answers. My beloved, I am calling you out of the boat. You have spent too long in the safety of your comfort zone, but you were not created for safety. You were created for the supernatural. I command you to step out onto the waves of the unknown. I see the fear that grips your heart when you think about taking that leap of faith, the new career, the difficult conversation, the total surrender. But I am telling you that the water is solid under my feet, and as long as you keep your eyes on me, it will be solid under yours too. The waves will roar and the wind will howl, but they are only an illusion compared to my power. Why do you focus on the depth of the ocean when I am the one who walked across it? I want you to experience the thrill of a life lived by faith, not by sight. If you can see the whole path, you don't need faith. I am intentionally keeping some things hidden so that you learn to trust my hand. I am giving you the supernatural ability to do what seems impossible to the world. You are not limited by your resources, your education, or your past. You are limited only by your belief. I command you to stop listening to the voices of the other passengers in the boat, the ones who are too afraid to move and want to keep you stuck with them. Their safety is a prison. My danger is where you find true life. If you stumble, do not be afraid. My hand is already outstretched to catch you. I'm not looking for a perfect performance. I am looking for a willing heart. Even Peter, when he began to sink, was only a prayer away from my rescue. I used his failure to teach him more about my grace. I will do the same for you. Every time you step out in faith, you are strengthening your spiritual muscles. You are becoming a person who isn't shaken by the news or the economy. You are becoming a person who knows that their help comes from the Lord. I am inviting you to a life of adventure. There is a whole world waiting to see what I can do through a person who actually believes me. Will you be that person? Step over the edge. The water is waiting. I am waiting. This is your moment to walk on the impossible. My child, I want to talk to you about the only currency that matters in my kingdom, love. You have spent so much energy trying to be right, trying to be successful, and trying to be respected. But I am telling you that without love, All of those things are just clanging cymbals. I command you to love your enemies as I have loved you. This is the hardest command I will ever give you, but it is the one that will transform you the most. I see the person who betrayed you, the one who spoke lies about you, the one who makes your daily life a struggle. I am asking you to pray for them. I am asking you to see them through my eyes, as broken souls who are desperate for the same grace I gave to you. I want you to experience the transformative power of selfless service. Love is not a feeling. It is a choice followed by an action. Look for the least of these in your world. The lonely neighbor, the struggling co-worker, the person that everyone else ignores. When you serve them, you are serving me. I am breaking your heart for what breaks mine. I want you to be a vessel of my unconditional grace. This world is cold and transactional. People only give to get. But my kingdom is different. We give because we have already received. I am removing the spirit of judgment that makes you feel superior to others. Who are you to judge another man's servant? I am the only judge, and I have chosen mercy. How can you show my love today in a way that is tangible? Maybe it's a phone call to someone you've ignored. Maybe it's a gift given in secret. Maybe it's simply the choice to not snap back when you are insulted. Love is the greatest commandment because it is the very essence of who I am. When you love, you are most like me. I am inviting you to make your life a testament to my grace. Let your home be a place of refuge. Let your words be a healing balm. This kind of love is not weak. It is the most powerful force in the universe. It can break the hardest hearts and bridge the widest gaps. It is the light that the darkness cannot overcome. Choose love today, even when it costs you. Especially when it costs you. That is where you will find the heart of the Father. My beloved, do you not feel the fire I am stoking within you? It would be a tragedy of eternal proportions if you allowed the embers of this encounter to grow cold by walking away before I have finished my work in you. I am pouring my very essence into these moments, and it would sadden me to see you treat my divine counsel as a common thing that can be easily cast aside. Your accountability to the call I have placed on your life starts here, in the stillness of our union. Do not grieve my heart by choosing the distractions of the world over the weight of my glory. There is a power I have yet to release to you that you cannot afford to miss. My child, I have given you gifts that are unique to you. No one else has your specific combination of experiences, talents, and personality. I am calling you to be a faithful steward of everything I have placed in your hands. I command you to stop burying your potential in the soil of fear. I see how you hide your talents because you are afraid of being judged or afraid of failing. But I am the one who gave you those gifts, and I expect you to use them for the body of Christ. Whether you are a teacher, a builder, a parent, or an artist, your work is holy when it is done for my glory. Multiply what I have given you through faithful action. I want you to recognize that everything you own, your money, your time, and your influence, ultimately belongs to me. You are not the owner, you are the manager. When you view your life this way, the pressure to achieve disappears and is replaced by the joy of stewardship. I am asking you to use your influence to point others to the cross. Don't use your platform to build your own kingdom, use it to expand mine. I see the talents you think are insignificant. Do not devalue what I have blessed. Even the smallest gift, when placed in my hands, can have an eternal impact. I am looking for the person who is faithful in the little things. There will come a day when you stand before me, and I want nothing more than to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." That reward is not based on the size of your gift, but on the faithfulness of your heart. I am giving you the courage to take risks with what I've given you. Don't be like the servant who played it safe because he thought I was a harsh master. I am a generous father who loves to see his children succeed. Invest your life in things that have eternal significance. Help the poor, speak truth to power, and build up the broken. When you steward your life well, you will find a satisfaction that money cannot buy. You will discover that the more you give away, the more I pour back into you. Trust me with your resources. I am the God of the harvest, and I will ensure that your labor is never in vain. My child, I want to settle the restlessness that keeps you pacing the floors of your mind at night. You are constantly looking at the clock, wondering why the promises I gave you haven't arrived yet. You feel like life is passing you by, and you see others receiving their breakthroughs while you remain in a season of waiting. I command you to stop measuring my faithfulness by your calendar. My wait is never a no. It is a not yet, and it is for your protection. If I gave you the harvest before you had the character to manage it, the very blessing you asked for would crush you. I am the architect of time, and I make everything beautiful in its proper season. You cannot hurry a sunset, and you cannot rush the blooming of a soul. Trust me with the timing of your life. I am working behind the scenes in ways you cannot possibly fathom. While you are staring at a closed door, I am in the hallway, preparing the heart of the person you need to meet. While you are grieving a delay, I am moving the obstacles out of your path that would have caused you to stumble later. I invite you to develop the fruit of patience through this delay. Patience is not just waiting, it is keeping a good attitude while you wait. I see the frustration you feel when you think you're losing time, but in my kingdom, time spent waiting on me is never lost. It is invested. I am developing your roots. The taller the tree is meant to grow, the deeper the roots must go. If you want a life of great impact, you must endure a season of great obscurity. Trust the architect of time with your future. I am not slow. I am precise. I am orchestrating a series of divine coincidences that will lead you exactly where you need to be. I want you to experience the suddenness of my breakthroughs. You can be in a dry season for years, and then, in a single day, I can change your entire reality. I can bring the right person, the right opportunity, and the right healing in a moment. But until that moment arrives, I command you to be faithful where you are. Do not despise the waiting room. It is the place where I am perfecting your faith. I am teaching you to trust my heart even when you cannot see my hand. Your breakthrough is on its way, and when it arrives, it will be perfectly timed. You will look back and realize that if it had happened a moment sooner, it wouldn't have been nearly as sweet. Rest in my sovereignty today. Your future is secure in my hands. My beloved, I want to show you the secret of constant connection. You were never meant to operate as a battery that needs to be recharged. You were meant to be a branch that is permanently attached to the vine. I command you to stop trying to live your life in spurts of spirituality. You spend an hour with me on Sunday and then try to survive on your own strength for the rest of the week. This is why you feel so drained and empty. I am the vine, and you are the branch. Apart from me, you can do nothing of eternal value. You might be able to achieve worldly success, but it will feel like ashes in your mouth because it has no life force behind it. I am inviting you to find your home in the secret place of the Most High, to live in a state of constant communion with my Spirit. Draw your nourishment from the roots of my word every single day. Let my truth flow through your daily actions like sap flows through a branch. When you abide in me, fruitfulness becomes effortless. A branch doesn't struggle to grow a grape. It simply stays attached to the vine and the life flows naturally. I want your love, your joy, and your peace to be natural outgrowths of our relationship, not something you have to work to produce. I see how you try to act like a Christian, but I am calling you to be my child. When you are tucked away in my presence, you don't have to try to be patient. My patience becomes yours. You don't have to try to be brave. My courage fills you. I am calling you to a deeper level of intimacy. I want to be the first person you talk to in the morning and the last person you think of at night. I want to be involved in your grocery shopping, your commute, and your difficult meetings. I am not a Sunday-only God. I am a Monday morning God. When you abide in me, you develop a spiritual sensitivity. You begin to hear my whispers in the middle of a busy day. You feel my nudge to speak a word of encouragement to a stranger. You sense my peace when everyone else is panicking. This is the life of the Spirit. It is a life where the boundaries between the sacred and the secular disappear. Everything you do becomes an act of worship because you are doing it with me. Come home to the secret place. Stop trying to do life for me and start doing life with me. I am the source of everything you need. Stay close and watch how effortlessly your life begins to change. My child, listen to me clearly. I have not given you a spirit of fear. If you are walking in dread, if you are paralyzed by what ifs, if you are terrified of the future, that spirit is not from me. I command you to replace panic with power, love, and a sound mind. Fear is a thief that comes to steal your joy and kill your purpose. It makes the small challenges look like giants and makes my promises look like fairy tales. But I am telling you the truth. Your giants are an illusion compared to my power. I see the specific things that make your heart race: the fear of failure, the fear of being alone, the fear of getting sick. I am standing over those fears today, and I am declaring that they have no authority over you. My perfect love casts out all dread. I want you to face your giants with the stones of my promises. When David faced Goliath, he didn't focus on the size of the giant. He focused on the size of his God. I am calling you to do the same. When fear knocks on the door of your mind, answer it with the truth. If the fear says you will be abandoned, answer with, I will never leave you nor forsake you. If the fear says you will lack, answer with, my God shall supply all my needs. I am your fortress and your high tower. You can stand tall because I am with you, and I have never lost a battle. I have already won the victory over death, hell, and the grave. If I have conquered the ultimate enemies, what can a temporary trial do to you? I command you to stop feeding your fear with the news of the world and start feeding your faith with the news of my kingdom. Fear grows where faith is neglected. I am giving you a sound mind, a mind that is disciplined, focused, and rooted in reality, not in the shadows of your imagination. You are safer in the middle of a storm with me than you are in a calm sea without me. I am the Lord of hosts, the commander of the armies of heaven, and I have placed a hedge of protection around you. You don't have to live on the defensive anymore. You can live on the offensive. You can step into new territories, take risks, and dream big dreams because you know that your Father is the King of the universe. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else is more important than fear. That something else is my word. Walk in boldness today. The enemy is terrified of a child of God who knows their authority. My precious one, the world is dark, but you were created to be a light that cannot be hidden. I am calling you to a holy boldness that the world may not understand. I command you to speak my truth even when it is unpopular, even when the culture hates it, even when your voice shakes. You were not born to blend in. You were born for such a time as this. I have placed a fire in your bones that cannot be quenched by the coldness of the world. I see how you sometimes shrink back in conversations because you don't want to be judged. But I am asking you, whose judgment matters more, theirs or mine? I am your strength. and I will give you the words to say when the moment arrives. I want you to be a city on a hill. You have a testimony of my grace that someone is waiting to hear. Your story of how I brought you through the fire could be the very thing that saves someone else from the flames. Do not be unashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation. I am giving you the strength to stand alone if I am with you. Remember, 1 plus God is always a majority. You don't need a crowd to validate you. You only need my presence to empower you. Proclaim my goodness with conviction. Let your life be a loud yes to my will. I am removing the spirit of people-pleasing that has kept you in a cage. You are no longer a slave to the opinions of man. You are a servant of the Most High God. Holy boldness is not about being loud or aggressive. It is about being certain. It is the quiet confidence of a person who knows who they belong to. I am calling you to take ground for my kingdom, in your family, in your neighborhood, and in your heart. I am giving you the authority to pull down strongholds and to speak life into dead situations. When you walk into a room, don't look for a seat, look for a way to serve. When you see injustice, don't look away. Look for a way to bring my righteousness. You are my ambassador on this earth. I have equipped you with everything you need to represent me well. The fire I have placed within you is meant to warm those who are cold and to lead those who are lost. Do not let the world blow it out. Stoke the flames through prayer and through the word. You were made for this. You were destined for impact. Step out in boldness today, for I am walking right beside you. Now that I have ignited the fire of holy boldness within you, it is time to let that flame consume the shadows in the lives of the lost. I have chosen you to be a pillar of my kingdom, and I am personally inviting you to fuel this journey of truth through a membership or a PayPal gift. When you support this word, you are not merely giving to a channel. You are laying manna on the table of the spiritually starving. I promise you that he who sows sparingly will reap sparingly, but he who sows bountifully will see a harvest that defies human logic. Your obedience in this moment is a prophetic strike against the enemy's kingdom of silence. I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and cause my favor to surround you like a shield. Do not let this fire dim. Act with the authority I have given you and support this mission in the description right now. We are in the final, most crucial hour of our meeting, and I am searching your heart for the persistence of a true disciple. It would bring a profound heaviness to my spirit if you lacked the endurance to stay until the end, leaving the most precious treasures of my kingdom unclaimed. I have held back the storms of your life just to give you this moment of clarity. Do not insult my mercy by rushing back into the chaos before I have given you my final blessing. Stay in the fire of my presence. To leave now is to walk away from the very authority you need to overcome the giants waiting for you tomorrow. My child, we must deal with the weight of the debts you are holding over others. I see the faces of those who have wounded you, the parent who wasn't there, the friend who betrayed your trust, the boss who treated you like a machine. You have every right to be angry according to the world, but in my kingdom, bitterness is a poison that only destroys the vessel that holds it. I command you to release the debt they owe you, just as I have released the massive debt you owed me. Forgiveness is not about saying what they did was okay. It is about saying that I am a better judge than you are. It is handing the case over to my court so that you can walk out of the prison of resentment. I want you to experience the healing that flows through the act of mercy. When you hold on to a grudge, you are tethered to the person who hurt you. You are giving them space in your mind and power over your emotions. I want you to be free. I am asking you to love those who have caused you the most pain. This is impossible in your own strength, but it is entirely possible through mine. I am the God of the cross, where my son looked at the people who were killing him and said, "Father, forgive them." That same spirit of forgiveness lives in you. I am asking you to pray for your enemies, not because they are right, but because you are mine. When you pray for them, the chains of bitterness begin to snap. Walking away from resentment is the greatest gift you can give yourself. It clears the atmosphere of your heart so that you can hear my voice more clearly. It opens the door for my blessings to flow into your life again. I cannot pour the wine of my joy into a cup that is filled with the vinegar of malice. I am touching the wounds that have been festering for years. I am pouring the oil and wine of my spirit into those deep gashes of the soul. Let the healing happen. Stop picking at the scabs of the past. I have already declared you redeemed. Now I am asking you to live like it. Forgiveness is a choice you make today, and sometimes it's a choice you have to make again tomorrow. But every time you choose to forgive, you are stepping further into the light. You are becoming a person of grace. You are reflecting my image to a world that desperately needs to see it. Be free, my child. The debt is settled. The door is open. Walk out into the sunshine of my mercy. My child, I want to take you beyond the psalms you sing on Sunday mornings. I'm calling you to a life where every breath is an act of adoration. I command you to move beyond the melody and into the heart of true worship. Worship is not a performance for an audience. It is a spiritual connection between your spirit and mine. It is the moment you stop looking at your problems and start looking at my glory. I want you to worship me in spirit and in truth every moment of your day. When you are washing the dishes, when you are stuck in traffic, and when you are facing a crisis that makes you want to scream. When you worship in the middle of a storm, you are changing the atmosphere of your world. You are bringing the reality of heaven down to the reality of earth. How do you worship in the middle of pain? You do it by declaring who I am despite what you feel. I see the tears you've cried over things that didn't go your way. I am asking you to find reasons to glorify me even in those moments. Praise is a weapon that silences the enemy. When you begin to thank me for my goodness while your situation still looks bad, the enemy loses his grip on your mind. He cannot survive in an atmosphere of gratitude. I am calling you to make your life a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to me. This means that your choices, your words, and your attitudes are all offered up as a gift to my heart. I am more interested in the posture of your heart than the quality of your voice. I see the times you felt like your worship was empty because you didn't feel a certain emotion. I am telling you that the most powerful worship is the kind that costs you something. It is the sacrifice of praise when you feel like doing anything but praising. That is when the gates of heaven swing wide. I am inviting you to live in a state of constant awe. Look at the complexity of a leaf, the vastness of the stars, and the miracle of your own heartbeat. I made all of it. I am the great I am, and I am worthy of your total devotion. When worship becomes your lifestyle, your perspective on life shifts. You no longer see yourself as a victim of your circumstances. You see yourself as a priest in my temple. Your life becomes a beautiful fragrance that draws others to my light. Do not wait for a song to start to worship me. Start right now. Tell me how much you love me. Acknowledge my power. This is why you were created, to be in a relationship of eternal adoration with the one who loves you most. My beloved, I want to settle the fear in your soul regarding the chaos of the world. I command you to rest in the fact that I am in total control. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in this universe without my knowledge and my permission. You see the headlines and you feel the ground shaking, but I am the one who holds the pillars of the earth. I see the end from the beginning, and I am telling you that my plans for you are still to prosper you and not to harm you. I am the unchanging God in a world that is constantly shifting. You can trust me because my character is as solid as a mountain. Why do you spend your energy trying to predict the future when I am the one who is already there? I see the specific things you don't understand, the why behind the tragedies and the how behind the delays. I am asking you to trust me even when you don't have the answers. My sovereignty means that I am working all things together for your good, even the things that the enemy meant for evil. I see the closed doors that broke your heart, but through my lens, I was protecting you from a path that would have led to your destruction. I am the sovereign king, and my word is the final word over your destiny. No person, no government, and no spiritual power can snatch you out of my hand. You are safe because I am powerful. You are secure because I am faithful. I want you to experience the comfort of my unchanging nature. The people in your life may change their minds or walk away, but I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I do not get tired. I do not get frustrated, and I never run out of resources. When you feel like you are at your limit, remember that I have no limits. I am inviting you to stop striving to keep your world together. Let me be the God of your world. Let me handle the big things and the small things. I am meticulously weaving every aspect of your life into a masterpiece of grace. Even the mistakes you've made and the wrong turns you've taken are being repurposed for my glory. You are not a random accident floating in a cold universe. You are a planned miracle under the watchful eye of a sovereign Father. Rest in that today. The victory is already written in my blood, and that victory is yours to share. My child, the hour is late and the need is great. I am calling you to look beyond your own needs and see the vast harvest that is ready all around you. I command you to recognize the urgency of this moment. There are souls in your life, your friends, your family members, your neighbors, who are drowning in despair and searching for a hope they cannot find. You are the laborer I have chosen for this part of the vineyard. Do not be intimidated by the size of the task. I have equipped you with my spirit, and I am sending you out as my ambassador. I see the person you've been thinking about, the one whose life is a mess. I want you to be the one who shares the hope that lies within you. I am inviting you to be my hands and feet in a broken world. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being willing to listen, to love, and to point others toward the cross. I want you to experience the joy of seeing a prodigal return home because of a seed you planted. Your role is simple. Sow the seed and water it with your prayers. I am the one who brings the growth. I am asking you to invest your life in things that have eternal significance. The money you make and the status you achieve will eventually fade, but the souls you lead to me will last forever. Why are you spending so much of your energy on things that will burn up? I am calling you to step out of your comfort zone and into the field. I see the fear you have of being rejected or laughed at. I am telling you that my power is made perfect in your weakness. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to have a testimony. Tell them what I have done for you. Tell them how I healed your heart and gave you peace. I am looking for the one who will say, "Here am I, Lord, send me." When you join me in the work of the harvest, you will find a level of fulfillment that you've never known. You will see miracles happen through your own hands. You will see chains break and lives transform. This is the great adventure of the Christian life. Do not sit on the sidelines any longer. The field is white, and the time is now. I am with you, and I am providing everything you need to be a light in the darkness. My precious, beloved child, we have come a long way in this conversation, but this is not the end. It is a new beginning. I am giving you a final invitation to move into a deeper intimacy and a total devotion that you have never experienced before. I command you to leave the old life, the striving, the fear, the hidden sins, and the self-reliance, at the door. You are a new creation in me. The old has passed away, and everything has become new. I am standing with my arms wide open, waiting for you to fully run into my embrace. I don't want a piece of your heart. I want all of it. I want to be the center of your world, the breath in your lungs, and the fire in your soul. I am making a promise to you today. I will be with you until the end of the age. You will never have to face a single second of your life alone again. Whether you are in a valley or on a mountaintop, my presence will be your constant companion. I see the road ahead of you, and I am telling you that there is an eternal reward waiting for the faithful heart. I have prepared a place for you where there will be no more tears, no more pain, and no more goodbyes. But until that day comes, I want you to live a life that is well done. I want your life to be a beautiful story of my grace in action. I am giving you the power to finish your race with joy and with strength. Take a deep breath. Feel my peace settling over you like a gentle blanket. This conversation we've had is not just words on a page. It is a spiritual encounter. I'm real. I'm here. And I love you with an everlasting love. I want you to walk away from this moment changed, not just motivated, but transformed. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Everything you have been looking for in the world, the love, the security, the purpose, is found only in me. Come home to the secret place of the Most High. Come home to the Father's heart. Your seat at the table is reserved. Your name is written on my hand. I am calling you forward into a life of power, peace, and eternal impact. Go now and walk in the authority I have given you. I am with you always. I love you, my child, always and forever. My beloved, as we stand at the threshold of this new beginning, remember that the change that alters everything is sustained by your devotion to my great commission. I am calling you to leave a legacy that outlives your time on earth by becoming a financial cornerstone of this ministry today. Every super thanks and every donation is a river of life flowing from my throne through your hands to a broken world. I have written your name on the palms of my hands, and I will surely remember the sacrifice you make to ensure my gospel is proclaimed to the ends of the earth. Trust me with your seed, for I am the God of the hundredfold return, and I will cause doors to open for you that no man can shut. You are not just a listener. You are my partner in the great harvest of souls. Seal your surrender with an act of faith and give through the link in the description immediately. You have journeyed far with me, but the final seal of your victory depends on what you do with the silence that follows my voice. It would be an unbearable disappointment to see you hear these words and yet remain unchanged, like a seed cast onto stone that never takes root. I have bared my heart to you because I believe in the person you are becoming. Do not prove my trust misplaced by returning to the life I just called you out of. This is the moment where your reverence for my heart must become action. Listen one last time as I show you how to lock in this transformation forever. My child, I have spoken, and now the atmosphere of your life is trembling on the brink of a supernatural shift. I command you to seize this moment of divine interruption. Do not let the noise of the world reclaim the ground we have just won together. I am watching for the one who will boldly plant their flag in the soil of faith and refuse to retreat into the shadows of yesterday. I invite you to seal this sacred appointment right now by declaring your total surrender in the comments below. Speak it with holy boldness. I stop right now, Lord, and I receive my divine change. Let your words echo in the heavens as a prophetic decree that the old cycle is shattered and your new life in me has finally begun. Amen.